4040.
Progressive knows it ain't easy navigating the open plains of home insurance, but there is one man who can help tame that wild herd of options. The Home Quote Explorer.
Note, Progressive's Home Quote Explorer is not a real person, but an online tool that lets you compare home insurance.
He's the type of fella who helps you decide on the right insurance, even if it ain't with him.
Again, not a person, just an online tool that helps you find great home coverage.
A real pioneer.
Okay, fine. Just do the thing. Yeah! Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. You know, I heard from a couple in Aurora recently, Tom and Denise. They're empty nesters who thought they were finally hitting their stride, but then life happened. They needed car repairs, groceries kept climbing, and suddenly they were putting everyday expenses on credit cards just to stay afloat. Tom told me, I feel like we're working harder than ever and getting nowhere. That's when I told them about American Financing. They're helping people just like Tom and Denise every day. They look at your whole financial picture, not just credit card balances that keep growing. With a refinance, you may delay 2 mortgage payments, and you may close in as fast as 10 days. And when they heard the average customer is saving $800 a month, they finally felt like they could breathe again. One manageable payment, a chance to stop financing their past and start funding their future. American Financing, family-owned, licensed in all 50 states, with salary-based mortgage consultants. There's no upfront fees, and there's no obligation. So call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Want real Broncos talk? Cecil Lammy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue Today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue Today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
Off and rolling. Here on a Wednesday, May 6th, reacting to another dominant dub for the Colorado Avalanche. A dominant dub, and to discuss that and more throughout the afternoon, it is friend of the show, the scrappy one, the scrapster, Scrap Peterson. What up, Will?
Woo! What up, Zach?
There you go. Doing your best Phillip Lindsay impression.
How we doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm doing fantastic. I survived the great blizzard of May 2026. Not a speck of snow on the ground. No school. Family's home. It's all good. Had a great time last night watching the game. You were there. I was not this time around. Man, what was that like in Ball Arena last night?
It was great, Zach. Obviously, 6:10 start on a Tuesday night with a storm coming in and rush hour traffic. I'm looking around at like 6:02, 6:03 going, oof, we got some seats that need some butts in them. But credit to Avs fans. They showed up and showed out. The atmosphere was fantastic. And I did have a little, here we go again. Here we go again. When you look up, the scoreboard doesn't even read 16 minutes, and it's 1-1. Particularly when the Avalanche score. Nice, really nice backhand by Marty Necas. And then I don't know how Kaprizov gets lost within 6 seconds behind your defense, but that's exactly what happened, and they tie at 1-1. And I'm thinking, are we in for another ridiculous, absurd game? And I was really glad that the Avalanche settled it down. For as much as I would have signed up for 9-6 all day, every day, those have to be one-offs. Those aren't sustainable.
No.
And the fact the Wild scored once in the first 3 minutes and then didn't score again until it was 4-1 with about 5 minutes to go, that felt like more stability, less chaotic, and I think the players and coaches were happy with that as well.
Well, it's a 5-2 win. The Avs go up 2-0 in the series, where historically 86% of the time teams that are up 2-0 in a series like this one, they go on to win the series. And the Avs, just an extension of the conversation that we were having during the crosstalk with Dover, man, I don't know. Like, look, again, I think we've been on the same page with this. For many months, I'm like, no one's beating this team 4 times in a 12-day period. I cannot see it. I can't see it. It's becoming more unclear to see. Even when I squint, I'm like, man, I got to be frank. I can't imagine this team being beaten 3 times, let alone 4. I'm not sure if I can envision twice. And obviously I reserve the right to change my opinion with new information, but with what I have right now, with the evidence that is in front of me, this team is a juggernaut. You call them a wagon. They're a steamroller. There's no weakness. And last night, what was different about last night as opposed to the first 3 games of the King series, I know it was snowing, but the stars were out, Will. The stars were shining last night in a way that you love to see with championship aspirations.
Yeah, Nathan MacKinnon had a absolutely ridiculous best player in the world type game.
No doubt.
I mean, think about everything he accomplished. The first 2 goals both set up by really pretty MacKinnon passes. The 4th goal, vintage Nathan MacKinnon one-timer on the power play to basically put the Wild away and put Colorado up 4-1. And, oh, by the way, he blew up Quinn Hughes and Matt Boldy.
That was
2 guys from Team USA who, of course, got gold medals while Nathan MacKinnon didn't. So let's just start there. MacKinnon, everyone says, well, why is he the favorite for the Conn Smythe? Well, he's the best player on the best team, and he proved last night why he's the favorite for the Conn Smythe trophy, because that was ridiculous. And I sat there in Jared Bednar's postgame press conference, and even he showered praise on MacKinnon, which isn't rare. Bednar likes to praise his guys, but normally he'll just say, yeah, I thought he had a good game.
But to say, I think it was his best playoff game.
Mm-hmm. How many playoff games has Jared Bednar watched Nathan MacKinnon play?
Right.
100?
And I didn't know whether to interpret that was his best playoff game this year. And we'll get into that piece of audio a little bit later, and we can try to decipher whether he's saying this postseason or ever. But the fact that we don't know which is a testament to just how well MacKinnon played, passing officially Peter Forsberg in goals in Avalanche history, looking up at only Super Joe at this point. It's just, dude, it's legendary stuff. It's arguably the best player in the game playing his best hockey when the moment requires it. And it doesn't always work out like that. Nikola Jokic, we just watched it. He had the worst series of his life with championship expectations. So to see Nate shine like that, it was brilliant, man, just up and down. I mean, Marty getting the party started, really for a second consecutive game. And interesting words from Bednar last night about Marty Netchis that we'll get into just a little bit later. But it's last game, so game number 1, an all-important game number 1. You're getting the party started being the driver of offense, setting up Sam Malinsky, and he obviously, finishes the job and you draw first blood. Last night, that little floater of a backhand that, you'll hear hockey people say, wouldn't break a plane of glass. It was just perfect to get that party started. Yeah,
absolutely. And it was huge that the Avalanche struck first because Minnesota had just made a desperate goalie change, right? John Hines went to Gustafsson, in my eyes, from Volstead in kind of a panic move. Volstead was a huge reason why you beat the Dallas Stars, and he has one bad game. You let him wear 8 goals, and then you're going to say, see you, kid. Here comes Gustafsson. And you look up, the Avs have a goal from Marty 2.5 minutes in. They've got a goal from Gabe just a handful of minutes later. Nicholas Waugh, very slick, quick release to put him up 3-1, and then the MacKinnon goal 4-1. So, yeah, Gustafsson didn't give up 8. He gave up 4.
Yeah.
The Avalanche added an empty netter, but if you had let him start quick, then the Wild would have started to believe. They would have said, oh, it was the goaltender problem in game 1. We're good now. But you didn't even let them catch their breath before there was already 1 in the back of the net. I thought setting that tone and sort of taking away any mojo that Hines hoped to gain by the goalie switch was super huge.
It was huge, man. And you see, and if you're the Wild, because look at it, in 5-on-5, the Wild had more shot attempts, more shots on goal, created more high-danger scoring chances. If you include the power play, the Wild had 14 high-danger chances and over 4 goals expected by the analytics, and you weren't close. You got beat like a drum. And so, man, that is extremely dispiriting if you're Minnesota. And for Scott Wedgwood, I know there was some sort of level of chatter, hey, could Bednar look at this? For him to respond the way that he did, I thought he was brilliant last night.
Stood on his head, 29 saves, including that third period. He was so clutch. Because, Zach, if Minnesota gets it 3-2, 12, 13 minutes to go, it gets kind of hairy time.
Sure.
And I thought Wedgwood made his best saves at the start of the third period and in the middle portion. Then what happened? Minnesota got frustrated. They started taking bad penalties.
Yes.
And what happened as a result of that bad penalty, McKinnon made it 4-1 and basically buried the game. Scott Wedgwood answered any and all questions last night, and he told me in the locker room as well, I played a lot better. It's like, yeah, no duh, but it's good for him to acknowledge it as well. Of like,
sure.
Yeah, I wasn't great in game one. I felt pretty darn good about my game in game two, and he should. Wedgwood made, I don't want to get out of hand here, but I'd say a half dozen.
Yes.
High level saves, including that one in the third where he slides over, robs the guy with his pad on the far post, and I mean, I'm sitting right there. It's right below me. I'm like, 3-2.
That was Kaprizov on the power play.
It was Kirill Kaprizov looking for his second. And then, of course, the Wild just got ticked off. Because imagine this. If I had told them 4 days ago, hey, you're going to go to Denver and score 8 goals, they would have said, whoa, we're going to be up 2-0 in that series, or very worst tied 1-1. They came to Denver, scored 8 goals, and lost both games by 3.
Crazy. All right, we'll get back to Avs at the top of the hour, spend our first 2 segments on them, rightfully so. We'll hit the pause button briefly because Denver sports fans should be bracing themselves for a move that will be jarring. That's next.
The Avalanche, the Wild. Round 2. This is where the real battle begins. Every game gets bigger. Every hit gets harder. Every moment matters more. Our guys are in the locker room. Our shows are locked in on every matchup, every adjustment, and every shift in momentum. On your morning commute, on your lunch break, on your drive home. Our shows have you covered from puck drop to final buzzer and everything in between. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
Hey, what's up, guys? Zach here. On behalf of my friends at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, talking to the fellas out there, if you've been wandering around the house lately, wondering why you're tired, foggy, unmotivated, gaining weight, even though your diet isn't that bad, guys, you might be dealing with low testosterone. A lot of guys just blame it on getting older. But let's be real. You shouldn't feel like you need a nap after tying your shoes. And if your workouts feel more like warm-ups, your sleep is trash, your sex drive is in the witness protection program, it might be time to get checked out. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, they use advanced medical strategies, TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1, PDA, and more to help you get your energy back, improve sleep, boost your workouts, shed pounds. Guys, the appointment is just $99. It includes a medical consult plus a T and PSA test. If you start treatment that day, your visit's free. All right, so go take the low T quiz online. Takes you less than 2 minutes. They have 5 locations in Colorado to serve you, and they've served tens of thousands of men just like you. So call them at 720-440-7900 or visit them online at RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
So what makes Champ Honda different? It's simple. One price, one person, 1 hour, meaning clear, upfront, and fair pricing. There are no games, no guesswork, and you work with a single client advisor from start to finish. No runaround, there's no back and forth, and 1 hour so you can spend less time at the dealership and more time doing what you love. Plus, at Champ Honda, they never charge dealer handling fees. None. It's a better way to buy a car, and once you experience it, you'll wonder why every dealership doesn't do it this way.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Lowest rate for life. It's our trademarked and most innovative product in the entire mortgage industry. Lock in your savings today, and if rates fall in the future, even as little as 0.5%, we will redo your loan with no lender fees and no appraisal fee. Always have the best rate and maximize your savings. It's only at U.S. Mortgages, and our number says it all. 303-LOW-RATE. That's 303-LOW-RATE or online at usmloan.com.
All loans subject to approval and change. License number 392126.
Usually when something sounds way too good to be true, it is. Imagine someone says you can cut your mobile bill in half. Sounds like a fantasy, but with Xfinity Mobile, it's the real deal because when you have Xfinity Internet, you can cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. That's a lot of streaming, sharing, scrolling, and whatever else you can do with your phone. All for half price and none of the commitment. That means you'll save big over Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. Now all you have to do is think about how you'll spend all that extra money. Call 1-800-XFINITY, go to XfinityMobile.com, or visit a local Xfinity store to switch today. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Savings compared to one line of Xfinity Mobile selected to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
While medicine's greatest advancements look like the latest sci-fi, one of our most powerful tools is far more simple, more human. It's a calling to connect with purpose by treating people, not just patients. With innovations that amplify healing and lead to more personalized care, guided by the belief we all hold the power to heal. At Common Spirit Health, clinical excellence lives here. Human kindness lives here. Learn more at mountain.commonspirit.org.
It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, we'll circle back to Avs here in just a couple minutes. As I said going in the break, chatted about them for the first two segments, rightfully so. And God, how about the total last night? The overhitting with 4 seconds.
Vegas always knows, Zach. They always know.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was on the wrong end of that one for 2 straight days. I'm like, well, this is going to be like 2-1. You know, it was 2-1 going in the second period. So we'll get to all that and all the ongoings of last night. I said going into the previous segment, Denver sports fans should be bracing themselves for a move that will be jarring. I mentioned this yesterday in passing. We didn't spend a ton of time on it. I do believe we have seen Jamal Murray play his last game as a Denver Nugget. And I say that out of basic, almost like necessity. Because everyone is clamoring for changes within the Denver Nuggets. And it's a very easy thing to say or tweet. It is a much harder thing to actually execute and then with a straight face say, we think we're better than we were before. That's tough given the current state of where this Denver Nuggets organization is at. And there's just not a lot of levers to pull, Will. There's not. People want Christian Brown gone. He's untradeable. Historically, you could maybe attach an asset to him and then depart from him, much like they did with Michael Porter Jr. and getting out from underneath that contract. There's no picks to give.
They don't have assets.
No one's going to take on Aaron Gordon. I hear people talk about his extension like it started yet. It hasn't. His extension has not started yet.
Same boat as Christian Brown.
And he's played 36 games this year. He has not played a full 82 games combined in the last 2 years combined. So there's just not, it's not fantasy basketball. But there is one guy whose stock right now is high enough to get an actual return, and it may have run its course. And I say this with incredible respect and sensitivity because I know there's someone listening on a snow day right now, and he's 15 years old, and he's got a Jamal Murray poster up in his bedroom. Or maybe someone's 25, and that poster went up there 11 years ago, and it's still there, or what have you. If you want major changes, you have to do one of two things. You have to move on from the coach, or you have to trade Jamal Murray. They're not moving on from the coach. My expectation is they will move on for Jamal Murray.
Yeah, we can scream until we're blue in the face. Fire David Adelman, fire David Adelman. They're not going to fire David Adelman. If Shams Charania wants to go on the record on Sunday and say David Adelman is safe, then I will take that as gospel. Ever since Adrian Wojnarowski retired, Shams is the guy, and he gets good info. I don't know who his source is, but I can promise you his source is very, very high up in the Nuggets.
Of course.
In fact, I would guess his source is Josh Kroenke. So if Josh Kroenke tells Shams, I'm not firing David Adelman, Josh Kroenke gets to decide whether or not David Adelman gets fired. So I understand, and people are going to text about it and talk about it. We can't change it. David Adelman's not going to go. So with that aside, look at the next layer. Okay, you got to change the roster. You got to change players. Well, Nikola Jokic is off the table. We all know that. Christian Brown, as you outlined, untradeable. Aaron Gordon, borderline untradeable, as you outlined as well. The only other option, Zach, is they run it back. And we know how much Sean Payton doesn't like that term, even though the Broncos are indeed running it back. So you say it with confidence, and I appreciate your confidence. I understand the sensitivity you have bringing this up because Jamal is a champion and his jersey will go in the rafters.
Oh, yeah.
But what makes you so sure they're not just going to run it back? Because I could close my eyes and see basically the same team in October, game 1 at Ball Arena.
Yeah, and if you see that, they'll win around 50 games, and they'll lose in the first or second round again. Saying that they will trade Jamal Murray, let me make my words more pointed. They should trade Jamal Murray.
There you go.
This has run its course. And when you see Jamal Murray for 2 years in a row in the biggest game of the season, in Game 7 against Oklahoma City, be completely ineffective and score 5 points in the first half and finish with 13.
When that game got out of control in the first half.
Correct.
Yes.
But like when you needed him most,
exactly.
He was completely missing for 5 points. He ends up with almost a window dressing 13. He wasn't even that effective because you lost by 40, 36 maybe. And then in Game 6 this season, the biggest game of this year, he's going for 12, shooting it more times than he did a year ago, scoring even less than that Game 7. And here's what was disturbing watching Jamal, because we saw him really bottled up 2 years ago against Minnesota, and it was Nickeil Alexander-Walker doing the majority of the defending, and then in crunch time, it was Ant-Man switching onto him. Well, Nah was no longer in the equation. So I'm like, okay, they got that guy out of here, and he's awesome, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And I'm like, he's going to have a lot more success in this series. Well, what happened? They just put a different guy on him, Jaden McDaniels. But here's what was even more disturbing than that, because McDaniels is incredible. When McDaniels wasn't guarding him, he couldn't get around Jalen Clark. He couldn't get around Terrence Shannon Jr. He couldn't do anything. So it's like, wait.
But Terrence Shannon Jr. could get around him.
For sure. And then when they make a substitution to Tyus Jones, a guy who was on the street, a buyout guy, was having more success off the dribble creating space than Jamal was. You remove the Nickeil Alexander, you remove the Anthony Edwards, you remove the Jaden McDaniels, and you couldn't score on Jalen Clark or Terrence Shannon. And it's one of these things where I go back to how it looked in with Team Canada, where he couldn't create a separation or get in the paint. So much of his success has come off using a Nikola Jokic screen, and he couldn't do that anymore. But his stock is high enough where you'll be able to get real material return if you make that change. They need to, and they will.
But you just went to they will again.
They will.
You were making all the sense in the world until you just told me they will. Because you just 5 minutes ago told me they should when I sort of challenged you a little bit. Now you're telling me they will.
Well, I think both things are true.
I'm not so sure they will, Zach. That's where we're on different wavelengths here.
Do you agree that they should?
They should. I'm not so sure they don't just run it back. Win another 50 games. Put 18,000 people in the seats for 41 home games. Definitely have a round 1 series, maybe a round 2 series, and then come up short. It's a mistake, and it drives me nuts as a Nuggets fan because you're going to burn another year of Nikola Jokic. If you flip that hourglass over, Zach, how much sand's still left in it for Nikola? 30% of it?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, I'd say 30%.
You got 70% of that sand gone. For years and years, we said, well, you got 5, 6, 7 more years of Jokic. We got to adjust that. You got 3, 4, 5 more years of Jokic. If you run it back, you're just burning another year of Nikola. My problem is you're very confident this front office and this ownership is going to give the green light on a Jamal Murray trade. I'm not so sure that's the case because you know what they should have done? They should have fired David Adelman 24 hours after they lost.
Well, they should have never hired him, and that's the truth.
That too. But they didn't fire Adelman, so why are we just assuming, because that's all we're doing, assuming, unless you have this, unless you have birdies on this.
No, this is not sourced at all.
Then we're just assuming they're going to make a big trade, and I assume they were going to fire the head coach, and they didn't, so therefore I can't assume they're going to make a big trade.
Well,
does that make sense?
It does. It does. It shouldn't, but it does, and you know what I mean by that. Well, here's the thing. Now you have, this is pretty interesting, when you have a Nuggets legend coming out on the record and being critical of Stan Kroenke. That happened today. Also, if I could undo one thing within Denver sports over the last 10 years, I know what it would be, and we'll get to that next.
The Nuggets need a fresh spark. So why bring back David Adelman? After another postseason full of issues, confusing rotations, and tough questions, Denver doubles down on its original mistake. Is this loyalty or lack of imagination? Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
I'm Rob Wilhite, and for nearly 50 years, my firm has stood beside Colorado families after serious car accidents. With over $1 billion won, we know how to fight for you. Call 303-GOOD-LAW or visit WilhiteWins.com. That's WilhiteWins.com.
Are you one of those people who dread going to the dentist? If so, have you tried sedation dentistry? Learn more about sedation dentistry at coloradosedation.com. Sit back, relax, and dream with the most experienced sedation dentist and staff at Clarkson Dental.
Are you looking for the perfect engagement ring? Hi, I'm Scott Matthew with Matthew's Fine Watches and Jewelry. We have a great selection to choose from. If you're looking for that one-of-a-kind custom ring, our associates will take the time with you to design that ring that she will love, and her friends will go crazy over. At Matthews, when you purchase your ring and Centerstone, you'll receive 20% off your wedding bands. Make the right choice. Come to Matthews and save.
Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry, located in the Highlands Ranch Town Center or online at MatthewsFineWatches.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
A family office is a team built to handle the 3 biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
When disaster hits your home, it's game time. Water in the basement, fire damage, mold creeping in. Don't sit on the sidelines. Call Able. Able Restoration is your first-round draft pick for emergency response, mitigation, and full rebuild. We move fast, protect your property, and fight for you with insurance start to finish. This isn't practice. This is your home. And when it's time to step up and protect what matters most, bring Able to the table. Call 303-590-5600. Go Able.
Bring Able to the table.
Here's something most window companies won't tell you. The window is only part of it. In Colorado, a well-built window can still fail if the installation isn't right. That's the part that determines what actually lasts. I trust Gravina's Window Center of Littleton because that's where the conversation starts. 50-plus years serving Denver, Colorado, and the Front Range. Right now, 25% off Infinity by Marvin Windows. Check them out at windowsforyourhome.com. That's windowsforyourhome.com.
Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Powered by Advanced Tax Solutions. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, we'll get back to the Colorado Avalanche at the top of the hour and really just get all of our thoughts out from Game 2. Will was there. I was at Game 1. You were at Game 1 as well, I believe, right?
Yeah, I've been at every home game, and that continues to be my plan.
I love it. I love it so much. All right, well, you got the press credential. I'm taking money out of my pocket. So I can't make every home game like you.
I could make room up there for you.
Is there an extra seat up there?
No, there's actually not. Huge kudos to the Avalanche. They got media. They got media in the press box. They got people down in 106. They got people in 322, and this is only round 2.
Right.
Imagine what it's going to look like for a potential Western Conference final and hopefully a Stanley Cup final.
And that's when they start taking out some seats, though.
Auxiliary press box.
Yes.
To accommodate all the media. And even if there's not a Canadian team in it, it'll still be packed. If it is somehow Montreal, imagine the extra flights that Air Canada might need to add back and forth with how many Canadians, literally Canadian media would be in Denver.
Yeah, if you were at the game last night and want to tell us about your experience, you can hit us up on the YouTube chat presented by Champ Honda. Okay, before we shift gears back to the Avs, how about Dan Issel? Dan Issel, what a legend Dan Issel is. Obviously, just it goes without saying, his jersey hangs forevermore from the ceiling of Ball Arena. He is currently 77 years old, played for the Nuggets for a decade, between the mid-70s up until the mid-80s. At one point in time was coaching the Denver Nuggets as well. And so he was on a really what it is a FanDuel show. It's a FanDuel show, and they brought him on there, and he was asked about Denver's offseason. Listen closely to how he breaks down the Nuggets moving forward.
Now, going forward, are there big changes coming this offseason with this Nuggets team? Like you heard the Jokic quotes about everyone in Serbia, would they'd be all fired. What do they do this summer to keep up with such a deep, highly talented Western Conference?
Yeah, Chandler, I don't think there's a whole lot they can do. I mean, they're not going to trade Joker, and no. Jamal had a rough series against Minnesota, but he was an all-star this year. The Cam Johnson is a nice piece. I don't know what you would get in return for him. Of course, Christian Brown has $100 million left on his contract. So I don't know if you can make a lot of moves. I don't think Stan Kroenke is the most frugal billionaire since Warren Buffett. So I don't think he's gonna fire a coach that has a lot of time left on his contract.
Wow. Really pointed comment there,
especially at the end,
by someone whose jersey hangs from the ceiling of Ball Arena. Now, I disagree with him on the Jamal point. We just talked about that. That is actually why you can move on from Jamal, because his stock is up comparatively to recent years. But to say to be such a interwoven piece of fabric through the history of this organization, to talk about the owner and say he's as frugal of a billionaire, which shouldn't be a sentence, but as frugal of a billionaire since Warren Buffett, it does give a peek into some of the larger picture themes that face this organization right now.
Oh, absolutely. And people say, well, the buck stops with Josh. Does it? Does it? I think that's the $1 million question with this Nuggets offseason is everyone says, well, why won't Josh Kroenke do anything? Why won't he fire the coach? Why won't he make a big trade? Why won't he do this? Is Stan still running the Nuggets? I don't know. He's a basketball guy. Obviously, we see him at Rams games. A lot of attention on the LA Rams. He's got Arsenal as well. I've seen him at Avs games before. Stan Kroenke is still very involved with all the teams.
For sure.
That his family owns.
For sure.
So by Dan Issel making that comment and calling him frugal, well, maybe don't point all your arrows at Josh if you're a frustrated Nuggets fan. Maybe Josh's father is making more decisions for the Nuggets than the average person realizes.
Well, it leads to I don't know exactly who's pulling the strings. I look at that setup much akin to Walker Monfort is running the Rockies on the day-to-day basis, but all the big stuff, the big stuff, still has to be cleared by Dick. I think that if I were to sort of surmise, that's what the setup is. But it does
like when Michael Malone got fired, I think Stan Kroenke probably signed off on it.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. And that's a big boy decision.
Exactly.
Right? I don't think that, stands in the trenches of whether you move on from Bones Highland or not.
Correct.
But it speaks to a larger theme that did come up on the Hoop Collective this past week, the one of the most popular podcasts in the world, Tim Bontemps, Brian Windhorst. We played a little bit of it yesterday, Tim McMahon. And they're talking about how the Mavericks were actually trying to recruit Tim Connolly to lead their organization now that they have this generational talent in Cooper Flagg. They wanted Tim Connolly. And the guy, they couldn't get Tim Connolly, so the guy that they got yesterday was Masai Ujiri. And, of course, these are the last two guys that ran the Nuggets. That's the aim. That's who the Nuggets haven't been able to retain. Here's a part of that convo.
Tim Connolly sure as hell is having a good night. By the way, the Mavericks are going to move on in their search for president of basketball operations. They're not going to wait on Tim Connolly, and there's an anticipation that Tim Connolly's not going anywhere.
Well,
that's news.
I mean, you're just dropping that in like you're dropping that in as if the whole world knew that Dallas was trying to get Tim Connolly, and you're saying, by the way, like, yes, we knew that this is something that Dallas wanted, but I don't know.
Oh, viewers of the hit YouTube show Howdy Partners sure knew.
Well, first off, I'm hearing a lot of as we enter this coaching carousel and an executive carousel season. There's a lot of conversation about guys who are already in the jobs for other places, and if a guy has a job at another team that's the same level job, I mean, I can think of 3 times in the last 20 years where it's happened.
Well, one was Tim Connolly leaving Denver.
I know. I can think of Tim Connolly leaving Denver because Denver doesn't value executives. Masai Ujiri going from Denver to Toronto because Denver doesn't value executives. And Brian Colangelo going from Phoenix to Toronto.
So in a conversation that has nothing to do with the Nuggets, we associate Tim Connolly with the Nuggets. They're talking about Tim Connolly running the Timberwolves. The Mavs want him. That's how desired he is. They can't get him, but they hire Masai Ujiri, and Windhorst says, off the cuff, I can think of 3 times in the last 20 years where a guy changes positions just to go to a different organization with the same role, and 2 of them are the Denver Nuggets because this ownership group doesn't value executives. And if there's one thing in the last 10 years that I could undo in Denver sports, it would be the mishandling, letting that guy, Tim Connolly, that the rest of the NBA would love for them to run his team, walk out the door for nothing because you didn't want to pay him for what he was worth. That is the origin story of how the Denver Nuggets got to where they are today.
Yeah, and you got a national insider just casually saying again and again that your favorite basketball team doesn't value executives.
Or paying coaches for that matter, too.
It's frustrating as a Nuggets fan. It definitely is.
It is. God, it fires me up. Okay, if you want to react to that conversation, the RamosLaw.com text line is available to you, 303-713-1043. The Avs have done something in the first 2 games of this series that hasn't been done ever before. And what does history tell us about the Avs being up 2-0? And what does history say about the Wild being down 2-0? We'll get to all of that next.
The Colorado Avalanche put on a clinic, controlling every inch of the ice from start to finish. Speed, precision, relentless pressure define their game as they powered past the Wild with authority. 5 goals, terrific goaltending, and a defense that refused to bend. That was dominance in every sense. The Avalanche skate away with a decisive 5-2 victory, and just like that, they seize a commanding 2-0 series lead. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, Denver's playoff headquarters.
Hey guys, it's Mark Schlereth. Nobody likes talking about this, but if you're a guy over 50 dealing with enlarged prostate, you need to know about PAE, prostate artery embolization. It's minimally invasive, done through a tiny pinhole, and you're back home the same day. Colorado Advanced Endovascular in Lakewood makes it easy. Top-tier interventional radiologist, a comfortable boutique atmosphere, and the kind of personalized care that's hard to come by. They serve the whole metro area. Go to coloradoae.com. That's coloradoae.com.
Tom's Garage Door, Tom's Garage Door. When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
I started my first business at 12 years old, mowing lawns for about $5 a yard. I thought I was crushing it until my buddy down the street undercut me by $2. But he didn't just cut the price, he cut corners too. That's when I learned if you do the job right, people trust you, and integrity beats profit. People care more about how you show up and whether you do what you say you're going to do. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Doors. From garage door repairs to upgrades, we show up, we crush it, and we stand behind every job. We only use the best parts, and the spring's guaranteed to last a lifetime. Because when you care about the people you serve, you work harder, and it shows. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Doors today or schedule online at donsgaragedoors.com. And yeah, we still beat the other guy.
Tom's Garage Doors, Tom's Garage Doors. When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
Brandon Stokely here from my friends at Roller Auction. Do you have items you're looking to sell? Since 1976, Roller Auction has been conducting commercial and industrial auctions for Colorado government agencies, Fortune 500 companies, small business owners, secured creditors, individuals, and more. They have a large marketplace to showcase your assets, so don't wait. Visit rollerauction.com for a free consultation and turn those items into some cold, hard cash. Again, go visit them at rollerauction.com. That's rollerauction.com.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. You know, I was talking to a listener last week, single mom, 2 kids, working full-time, and she told me she felt like she was drowning. Prices are up, bills stacked, paycheck gone before it even hits her account. But she's a homeowner, and that changed everything because American Financing stepped in. They're helping people just like her and just like you every day. No judgment, just real solutions. They looked at her whole financial picture, not just her credit card debt. With a refinance, she learned she may delay 2 mortgage payments and she may close in as fast as 10 days. And when she heard the average customer savings is $800 a month, she finally felt hope. 1 manageable payment, more breathing room, a chance to stop financing her past and start funding her future. American Financing is family-owned, licensed in all 50 states with salary-based mortgage consultants, no upfront fees, and no obligation. They helped her make her equity her exit strategy, and they can help you too. Call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 1823334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
In the last week of July, you'll find the superstars of rodeo at Cheyenne Frontier Days. Grab your hat, pull on your boots, and join in the Cowboys' favorite rodeo. Cheyenne Frontier Days, the wildest ride in the West.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
The right financial strategies can make a huge difference, especially if you're nearing retirement. Adam Mueller talks retirement strategies with Mile High Money. Saturday mornings at 8 on Denver Sports 104.3, The Fan.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. Powered by Regen RX. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay. Kicking off with the big story of the day, here's The Drive with Zach By and Denver, Colorado's own Phillip Lindsay.
1 hour in the books. Quicker than a New York minute. Hanging out with you here on a Wednesday. Happy hump day to you, May 6th. That first hour absolutely flew by. We're hanging out with Will Peterson here, filling in for Phillip Lindsay today. Will, thanks for being here.
Of course.
You're going to be here for the rest of the week. Phil is off. And, man, what a week to be in here. It's just so fun right now watching our local hockey team make mincemeat of their Western Conference competition. And I don't want to get ahead of myself because it's hockey. It's the postseason. Crazy stuff has happened. Crazy stuff has happened to the Avs in this exact position with this same core in this same Stanley Cup window. That said, goodness gracious, I can't let history, something that happened 5 years ago, be a fret when what I'm seeing with my two eyes in present day in May 2026 see arguably the most dominant team that we've seen in this era of Avalanche hockey, the Stanley Cup run included.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how well they're playing right now. 14 goals in 2 playoff games against arguably the best team left in the field is unheard of. And I understand 2 of those were empty netters, so if you want to take those 2 away, still 12 goals have gotten past either Minnesota goaltender in each of these first 2 games. Obviously, they made history last night with 12 different guys scoring at least 1 goal through 2 games. That's a record, an NHL record for a playoff series.
It is.
I mean, you go through the list. If you can do it, I'd be impressed. But you go through the list, who has scored for the Avs, you go, okay, well, Malinsky got 1, then Drury got 1, then Lehkonen got 1.
You're going back to game 1, trying to do it in order?
Exactly. Then Blankenberg got 1, then Tays got 1, then McCarr, then Kadri, then McCarr, then McKinnon. Those are your 9 in game 1. Game 2, Marty Necas, followed by Gabriel Landeskog, followed by Nicholas Waugh, Nathan McKinnon, Valeri Nichushkin. Think about that.
It's crazy.
That's 2 games. And all those guys I just reeled off have scored at least 1 goal in this series.
It's unprecedented in the literal sense of the word. You could be a 100-year-old hockey fan, and you've never seen anything like this before. And last night, the stars were shining so bright. I'm not sure if I've seen Nathan McKinnon play a better game. I mean, who he was defensively last night, who he was from a physical presence standpoint. Like, he was a Swiss Army knife last night and just bowling over and erasing, if not annihilating, Hughes and Boldy. And I tweeted it in the moment. I'm thinking of that little stuffed animal. That he was handed when those other guys had gold medals around their neck and waiting for a moment like this to just unleash. But the Avs, just from top to bottom, the waves that they come at you with, They don't get rattled by anything, and they can play stylistically however you want to play. Special teams, they were 2 of 5 on the night. They're now 3 of 7 in the series, 4 of 18 in 6 playoff games. That's 22%. That's the 4th best power play number in the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Wild 0 for 5 on the power play in this series. The penalty kill looks flawless, and that's the PK is a microcosm of the team, because legitimately, if you were to try to find a flaw, you need a magnifying glass right now.
Yeah, I can't think of one. Obviously, some defensive lapses in game 1 that you would want back, but it didn't matter because you scored 9 goals. That's the thing. You can win 2-1 twice against the Kings, then you can win 9-6, and then last night you can win 5-2. And I do think it's a debate. Was last night their most complete win of the playoffs?
Yes, I agree.
The only thing I'd debate it with is Game 4 in L.A.
Sure.
Obviously, you won that game 5-1. You finally let the Kings open up the ice a little bit, and you just ran them out of their own building to send them to Cancun.
And that was out of necessity on their part.
Right. L.A. was desperate, down 3-0, and obviously it burned them. But they've played 6 games. They've won all 6, and I walked out of that game going last night, are they going to lose? Obviously they're going to lose. I think, and it's a good reminder that when they do lose, probably when, not if, when they do lose, don't fly off the handle. It's one game. They lost 4 of them in 2022, Zach, and they didn't even have to play a Game 7. You were mentioning that earlier. You said, I don't know if anyone can beat them 3 times. Well, you got to beat them 3 times to force a Game 7.
That's right.
I don't know if anyone can beat them twice. Well, you got to beat them twice to force a Game 6. When they were the Cup champions just 4 years ago, they only had to play 2 Game 6s. Never had to play a Game 7.
And they never trailed in any series.
Exactly. And this is following a similar script, although this script is even better than 22, because you'll remember in 22, they split here with St. Louis in round 2.
They did.
They went back to Missouri, tied 1-1. Now they've won both games, and all the Kadri stuff happened, all that nonsense, but they're actually outpacing the 2022 team, who is 5-1 at this mark. This current version is 6-0.
It's unbelievable. It's so fun. And so you look at the top guys shining really bright. You still had some depth scoring, and certainly have had that in this postseason. 12 different goal scorers in the first 2 games. You mentioned that. That's the first of its kind. The 14 goals this series for the Avs are the most in first 2 games of a playoff series going back to 1988.
I wasn't born.
Think about that. So were you born in 80 or 90? Okay, I'm 87. So the 14, because people are busy, so I want to say that again. The 14 goals in the first 2 games of a playoff series hadn't happened since 1988, where the Flames somehow had 15 goals against the Kings in the late 80s. And so here we are, and I said going into the most previous break, what is the history of this? What does the history say when the Wild are down 2-0? What does the history say when the Avs are up 2-0? So this is the 10th time in the history of the Wild where they've trailed the series 2-0. Their record in those series, 1-9. Now, it needs to be said, the one win did come against these Colorado Avalanche. That was, I believe, Nathan McKinnon's sophomore season.
Well, rookie year.
NHL. Was it his rookie year?
Yeah, 14 was the end of his rookie year. You're talking about when the Wild came in here, won a Game 7 after being down 0-2.
Yeah. So McKinnon was in the playoffs his first year, huh?
Yeah, 13-14 was his first year in the NHL.
Okay, and obviously I wasn't here yet, but I'm just misremembering that in my head.
Because the only 2 guys who were on that team were Nathan McKinnon and Gabriel Landeskog. So the only 2 who remember, we did blow a 2-0 lead to the Wild, are those guys. But they've got to be the only 2 parts in the whole series. I can't imagine a Minnesota player played in that series.
No, I can't imagine that either. But it's important that they are the history holders of that sequence.
Mm-hmm.
That they can say, hey, everyone bring it in. I've been here before. Nate, you remember? Right? When we were up 2-0 on the Wild and they came back and beat us, we're not letting that happen. Stay on your front foot. Stay hungry. The Avs, so the Wild are 1-9 all time when trailing 0-2. Okay, the Avs have been up 2-0, 22 times in a series. They are 18-4. They are 18-4. So really good, really strong history on the Avs front. Poor history on the Wild front. I know there was that intersection where it didn't work out up 2-0 on the Wild. And then separate from the specific matchup, the history says 86% of the time when a team has a 2-0 lead, they go on to win that series. That turns into 96% of the time when a team is up 3-0. So, and excuse me, I misspoke. It's 98% of the time. Having a 3-0 lead through the course of NHL history, 98% of the time. So that's obviously looking ahead to Saturday if the Avs can truly put this series in a vice grip, Will.
Absolutely. Just some quick house cleaning. McKinnon had 10 points in that series. It was his rookie year, and the Avs did lose in 7 games to the Wild after being up 2-0. Now he had 1 goal and 9 assists. So he did his part as a rookie. I mean, he was, 18, 19 years old?
Yeah.
Certainly couldn't go have a beer anywhere. And Nathan McKinnon lived through this. He lived through this. But that said, if you win Game 3 on Saturday night, do you bring your broom to Game 4? Probably. Everyone's going to say, oh, the Wild won't roll over and die. It's really hard for teams down 3-0, especially to a wagon like the Avalanche, to not roll over and die. And then even if you lose Game 3, okay, there's your first loss of the postseason. No one's panicking, which I said don't panic. But then you got to go win Game 4. Because the only way this series gets interesting, Zach, is if you go up to St. Paul and they get both. And then it comes back here 2-2, and it's a best of 3. And, yes, you love that 2 of those 3 are on your home ice. But the only way we even have a sliver of doubt is if you're flying back to Denver on Monday night going, oof, okay, boys, we're all tied up 2-2.
Yep, and by the way, I don't think that's going to happen. This team has such maturity and professionalism. And maturity in a sense that, I always use this phrase, the accumulation of scars, right? When we're talking about basketball, but hockey as well. Hockey, like basketball, is oftentimes a climb. Oftentimes. Most times, really. And when you have those scars that you can look down and say, I called Nate and Gabe the history holders for blowing that 2-0 series lead to the Wild. But it's also what happened against Vegas, being up 2-0 and losing. These guys lived through that. Cale Makar lived through that. Nate, Gabe, they lived through it. What happened against Seattle? And these different, sequences where these, potential champions, teams that were favored to win the cup, have gone through hell. And it leads you to a moment like this to lean on that experience to say, we've been there and we haven't done that. We know what it feels like to get there. We know what it feels like to be derailed from a cup run, and we're just not letting it happen. And I think that experience, that real experience that multiple guys can draw from, I think that's going to pay dividends on Saturday night.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because Nathan McKinnon even said last night, I've learned in the playoffs you can have an impact on the game even if you don't get a point. And that's what I try to communicate to this room. Even if you don't get a point, you can have an impact on the game. And Nathan McKinnon can be a little surly, a little short with the media at times.
Sure.
He was great last night, Zach.
He
was great. I felt very fortunate to be sitting right across from him in that tiny little room down there in the basement of Ball Arena. It's not that tiny, but it is a room in the basement of Ball Arena. And he just felt like, you're talking about maturity and scars and climbing mountains and all that stuff. When he made that comment, you can still impact the game without getting a point. That, to me, is leadership. Because Nathan McKinnon had 3 points last night. He did his part. Brilliant goal, a couple really nice assists. But I think he's telling the other guys in the room, and obviously it's been a point fest through 2 games. No one's gotten frustrated.
But they didn't get frustrated when it wasn't a point fest.
Exactly. You can still do your part, and it is that maturity. When you climb Everest, right? If you want to do it a second time, you still got to start at base camp all over again.
That's right.
But the Avalanche, to me, don't feel like they're at base camp. And I know they still have 10 more wins to go, and they've only won 6. They're not even halfway there. But I feel like they're almost starting to see that summit. Now, they're not getting there tomorrow, not getting there next week. Still 6 weeks down the road, middle of June. But they're peaking up, and the sun is shining, and they're going, there's the peak right there. We just got to get to there. This team feels like they can see Everest, and all those other teams you mentioned, maybe they felt that way 5 years ago against Vegas, right? That was the infamous McKinnon press conference. It was on Zoom because it was still a COVID thing.
I remember it so well.
And I haven't won bleep. And then at the parade the next year, he gets, I finally won something. He starts joking about it.
Yep.
But even that year, they had never tasted the cup. So how can you say you've seen the summit if you've never tasted the cup? Seattle, McKinnon flat out said, we weren't going to win it that year. Remember they exhausted themselves just to win the Central, that game in Nashville.
Yeah.
The Nichushkin stuff happens in Seattle. Nichushkin happens again the following year. Last year, you run into a buzzsaw in round one after Chris McFarland made 5-6 trades. I think this is the first time since they've won the Cup. They feel like, boys, it's ours. And all we got to do is hike the rest of that mountain. Now, it's the highest mountain in the world.
That's right.
But they're well on their way.
Yep. And I just, and here's the other thing with this matchup. The guys over there are great players. Not good players. They're great players. Boldy's a great player. Kaprizov is he's an all-time franchise leader, in points and goals in their postseason's history, which, I don't know, goes back, maybe 25 years, something like that for the Wild, 26 years.
Yeah, you're in the right ballpark.
But, those guys are fantastic, and they are being completely humanized, if not dominated. Like, Quinn Hughes, like that's a dude. Like, he's a real dude.
American Olympic hero.
A legit hero. And he was awesome in game number 1. But, again, just checking in, how's it going for those guys? They are really being put in their place. It feels like these star sophomores wander down the senior hallway, and you're getting to know what time it is around here. And I love it. And then you have this conversation around Scott Wedgwood, and, hey, could there be a switch? And Bednar left the door ajar and all that. And, the just unbridled belief that Wedgie's got this. The crowd is chanting his name before the puck dropped last night, the same way they did in game number 1. And all he did is go out and stop 29 shots and allow 2 goals. And there's even context for one of them that was allowed. And and Wedgwood now, by the way, becomes the 4th goalie in NHL history to win each of his first 6 career playoff starts. It only happened this way 3 other times in the history of the sport. Cam Ward back in 2006, Tiny Thompson back in the 1929-30 season, who could forget? And then John Sebastian Giguere back in 2003. But that's the only frame of reference for the start of a postseason, the first postseason of Wedgie's career that he's alongside. We got to quote guys from the 20s and 30s to find a comp.
Huge bounce back effort from Scott Wedgwood last night. Just massive. And he probably had a little pressure on his shoulders.
Sure.
He had to go out and have a good game, because it's not like the dude sitting behind you is some AHL call-up and your leash is super duper long. It's the guy the Avalanche paid not all that long ago, about 15, 16 months ago,
literally,
to be their number 1 goalie in Mackenzie Blackwood.
5 years, $25 million.
And credit to them for being fluid and not just saying, well, we're going to dictate decisions off contracts. No, Jared Bednar is going to dictate decisions off who's the better goalie. And honestly, who the Avalanche play better in front of. I mean, the amount of times I've been asked, why do the Avalanche play better in front of Wedgwood than Blackwood? I don't have an answer. But if you have 2 eyes and a functioning brain and you even know a little something about hockey, you can tell that's the case. They look more comfortable, confident. For whatever reason, there is a calmness when Scott Wedgwood is in the net. And I go back to that 3rd period, Zach. I thought multiple times the Wild had cut that game to 3-2, and it was going to get a little dicey in there. And he just made save after save after save. And then, of course, Minnesota started taking frustrated penalties, and ultimately the Avs went up 4-1, and you knew it was over. Even when Minnesota made it 4-2, it didn't feel hairy or anything like that.
No.
So that stretch, Scott Wedgwood was your best player. From about 19 minutes to go in the 3rd period to about 9 minutes to go, and the scoreboard stayed stagnant at 3-1, and that was ultimately enough for the Avalanche to help bleed out the clock and then add a major insurance goal from McKinnon.
Well, man, you just love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. Netchus and Landy each posted a goal and an assist for the Avs. Landy passes Milan Hajduk in playoff points. It is now 7th in franchise history. So just last night, McKinnon officially passes Peter Forsberg in career postseason goals, and Landeskog is passing Milan Hajduk in playoff points. Like, these guys stand on the shoulders of those guys, but these guys are those guys, just in a different era.
They're equals.
They are.
Once they get a second cup, they'll be equals.
Yes.
Because what's Joe Sakic have? 2 cups. What's
That's right.
Patrick Waugh have? 2 cups. Peter Forsberg, I know he's injured, 2 cups. They got to get that second cup, and then I can call them equals.
Yeah, but for all intents and purposes, right now you're passing those guys on these all-time lists. It's just legendary. And for Marty, there has been a pre-existing thought out there that this guy does not play his best hockey when the season's hanging in the balance. And
is it a thought or is it a fact?
Well, if you look back to Carolina, it was closer to fact. I thought he was maybe properly framed in some cases, but in others a year ago, I think that it was all about the goals and like not necessarily watching the games and see how much offense he was driving. And I understand Mikko was out the door, and Mikko was, a playoff legend around here. So I think some of that criticism was fair. But that being said, what we're watching right now, dude, I'm watching this guy be a force offensively, whether he's scoring a goal or getting an assist or not. He is like a true straw that is stirring this drink. Talked about it last hour. In game number 1, this massive game in series number 2, and he is driving the offense that leads to the Malinsky goal. I'm watching this guy like pirouette into the zone. How many times did he enter the zone in game number 1 backward? Mm-hmm. Like it's like, holy smokes, this guy's comfortable. You see him last night in the short areas look like Allen Iverson on ice skates. I mean, he's incredible. And to see him break through and for a second consecutive game be a part of a sequence that kicks down the door to the game, it's just awesome to see. And maybe even for someone like you who had been critical of Necas last postseason, I hope he's making you feel a little bit better about what your eyes are seeing here.
Oh, he definitely is. Yeah, he's playing great. He's playing great hockey. There's no question about it. And I said I didn't want Dallas for 2 reasons, Zach. One, I thought Minnesota was a better matchup for the Avs. I just did. And you couldn't ignore the history that the Stars had eliminated you each of the last 2 postseasons. And 2, I didn't want to have to talk about Mikko Rantanen for 2.5 weeks. And I'm really glad we don't, because guess what? Mikko, he's probably back home. He's probably overseas,
right?
Or he's on a beach somewhere,
right?
And Marty's here making an impact, scoring the first goal, like you said, setting up the first goal in game 1. Marty's playing great hockey at this very moment, and Chris McFarland deserves all the credit in the world.
He really does,
because not only did he take a bunch of big swings last year that almost all are working out. Maybe they didn't work out in the moment. No one's going to argue that it worked out last year because the guy you traded eliminated you in a game 7 with a hat trick, but big picture, it's certainly working out. And then McFarland at the deadline adds Nicholas Waugh and Nazem Kadri. Nicholas Waugh has 3 goals in 6 games, including another one last night. Nazem Kadri had the goal in game 1 that took it from 6-5 to 7-5 and finally let you breathe a little bit.
That's right.
Think about what Sakic did in 22. He added Josh Manson. He added Arturi Lehkonen. He added Andrew Cogliano.
Huge dividends.
I think Waugh and Kadri are going to look like that. Even Blankenberg. That was a forgotten trade deadline acquisition. Well, this dude's had to play because Josh Manson's hurt, and he scored in game number 1 as well. So he may be more in the Cogliano. I believe it was Nico Sturm or Obey Kubel. There was another trade in there in 22. But not only did McFarland swing big last year, and now you've got Nelson and Necas under long-term deals, play the bulk of their career here, and Nelson, he'll finish his career here. But you also added at this deadline as well, I want an aggressive GM. When my team's a contender.
And that's what you got here.
And that's what you got. You are very lucky as an Avalanche fan to have a GM who is not afraid to shove his chips into the center of the table.
Yeah, here I got to play this because I love this quote last night from Jared Bednar talking about Necas specifically and the criticisms that have faced him historically.
I mean, it's great because, listen, some of the criticisms on Marty from his younger years prior to being here, they may have been valid. And Marty and I have talked about this. It's, but just because something's true one day doesn't make it true the next, and especially over time. He's put in a lot of hard work to be a trusted player on our team defensively. It's one of the talks we had when he got here, and a handful of times after that. If you're going to play with Nate and play against the opposition's best guys every night, I got to be able to trust you. You can't play there, no matter how good you are offensively, right? So he buys into that. The style, the players he plays with, it's important that he's on that line because he helps them a lot, and his game has grown. So I think those criticisms now are invalid.
those criticisms now are invalid. His game has grown, and judging by the production, I say it's full grown right now.
Yeah, that's a full circle answer. Because how did Bednar start it? They were valid.
Yep.
The old Marty Natchez, they were valid, and he sort of mic drops, walks it off. They are invalid now. Got to still continue to prove it. We're not sitting at a parade today. We're sitting here after they've won 6. They still got to win 10 more, but Marty Natchez obviously off to a great start in this postseason.
There's no doubt about it. 7 points in 6 games. All right, shifting gears here. We'll get back to the Avs shortly, but after an encouraging start, the Rockies have slipped. Can they get back on track tonight against baseball's highest payroll? We'll preview it next.
The Avalanche, the Wild. Round 2. This is where the real battle begins. Score! Every game gets bigger. Every hit gets harder. Every moment matters more. Our guys are in the locker room. Our shows are locked in on every matchup, every adjustment, and every shift in momentum. On your morning commute, on your lunch break, on your drive home. Our shows have you covered from puck drop to final buzzer and everything in between. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters. Want to partake in our contests? Check out the rules at DenverSports.com.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Let's talk about your hair. If you're losing it and desire it back, then do what I did and go see Dr. Tanya Pauls at Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can personally attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but close to it. They put hair where you need it the most, and bam, it grows. It's actually science. Advanced Hair has it all. Top-rated Dr. Tanya Pauls, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day. Advanced Hair even guarantees it to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation today. Call 720-459-HAIR and you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. That's 720-459-HAIR. Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver, and they've changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. Become inspired with the before and afters at advancedhair.com. That's advancedhair.com.
Save $2 when you buy 2 cans of Superior Products Coverall tire dressing. Plus, get 4 times O-Rewards points now at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks so you can make smarter decisions faster. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Stoke here for ROX, Rocks Heating and Air. It's no secret, the price of HVAC equipment is going to increase this summer. May is one of the best times of the year to buy a new HVAC system. Be ready for a hot, hot summer and get the best prices of the season. Finance a new HVAC system for $200 a month or get 0% interest only at ROX, Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
This deer season, John Deere wants to give you the home field advantage. We're bringing you the best offers of the season, whether that's cash off on select new machines or a shot at the ultimate Major League Baseball prize package. Because right now, you can enter for a chance to win an MLB All-Star experience for you and 3 friends, complete with travel and lodging for All-Star Week this July. Deer season is going on now through June 3rd. Visit johndeere.com/deer season to enter and view the offers and complete contest rules. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Join us at Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, our biggest trade event of the year, May 14th through the 16th. Trade in your RV and get the highest value guaranteed. Then upgrade for less with new RVs starting as low as $94 a month. Plus, take 25% off select maintenance services. Save up to 40% on camp-ready must-haves. And enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Red, White, and New Trade event at your local Camping World, May 14th through the 16th. We'll see you there.
Dan Jacobs with the tale of two cousins. They were both in the same accident. One cousin said she didn't need a lawyer. And when the insurance company offered her $3,000 and said they would pay all of her medical bills, that cousin was very upset because she cashed that check. And when the medical bills kept coming in, the insurance company was long gone. The other cousin called 303-LAW-4040. She was offered $30,000. And when we said no way, the judge used scare tactics trying to get her to accept the lowball offer. That's where a lot of lawyers will try and get their clients to cave in, but not us. We said that's fine. We'll tell her story to a jury. Before we could even get up and walk out of the room, that case settled for $1.1 million. That cousin was very happy. The insurance companies work for their shareholders. At 303-LAW-4040, we work for you. You don't have to feel guilty about asking for what's fair. We hope you never need us, but accidents do happen, so go ahead, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303-LAW-4040.
Imagine all that could happen in 5 years. Jobs may change, kids will grow, new memes will come out, but also, what if you had reliable, intelligent Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Thanks to Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, you'll actually won't have to worry about that part of your future. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to your devices that need them the most, that finds and fixes any issue before you even notice them. It's like super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from online threats, all with our best equipment and no annual contracts, no fees, and no strings attached. So even though your kids will grow up, your internet stays sharp, reliable, and most importantly, the price will stay put. 5 years, same price, locked in reliable, fiber-powered gig Wi-Fi for effortless streaming. Plus, get Disney, Hulu Bundle, Peacock Premium included on us. To get started, call, visit Xfinity.com, or drop into an Xfinity store. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Peacock Premium included for 3 years. Programming subject to change in availability. Actual speeds may vary. Xfinity Internet is powered by fiber and connected to the premises by coaxial cable.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan's brought to you by Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
One Wheel Broncos talk. Cecil Lemmy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. Every day at 3:30, the drive comes off the top rope to hit you with a 1, 2, 3.
Finally, the Rock has come back to Denver.
Tape your wrists, stretch your spandex, and oil your hair. Here's Zach and Phil with today's 3 count on the drive.
All right, let's come off the top rope with it! All righty. So we have the Rockies back in action tonight after a postponed game last night.
Your Rockies.
My Rockies. Yes, they are my Rockies. They had an impressive start. They're scuffling here. They've lost 5 games in a row. They're hosting the New York Mets. Well, go ahead.
We're using the word impressive for 6-6 now.
Yes, it was impressive. Will, you're
500.
Yes, I know.
It's not impressive.
They were the worst team in modern baseball history last year.
They had a fine start.
It was an impressive start considering who they were. We're still arguing about this. What were your expectations coming into the season? Tell me your expectations.
Zach, I listen to you every single day.
Will, tell me your expectations.
You treat the Broncos with big boy gloves. The Avs with big boy gloves. The Nuggets, you're punching people in the face left and right. And the Rockies, they're just your cute little project story that went 6-6. You have such different expectations.
Shouldn't we? They're a poverty franchise, Will. They've never won their division. They've been around for over 30 years. I treat them according.
6-6 is not impressive. It's baseball.
It was impressive, but we'll agree to disagree on their 12-game start. So they're 14-22 right now. They've lost 5 games in a row. They have the Mets tonight. It was supposed to be going on right now. It's supposed to be 1:10 in the afternoon. It's been bumped back to, I think, 7:20 is the start time tonight. What are you looking for with this team right now?
I'm looking for the grounds crew, baby. They are getting Coors Field ready to go. Best grounds crew in baseball. That's impressive.
That is impressive.
On
all
the field
raises.
from the team,
yeah,
I'm looking for Brenton Doyle and Ezekiel Tovar to figure out who they are.
Dude, Tovar looks like he stinks right now.
They are terrible. And yes, Mickey Moniak's been great. Rumsfeld's a very exciting young player. The pitching's actually overachieved. I'll give you that. But 2-3 years ago, all we had was Doyle and Tovar.
Yeah.
And both those guys.
Dude, Tovar's below the Mendoza line
Can't
right now.
hit a beach ball.
Crazy. And he started very well. Tovar did. Started very well. Yeah, he's hitting 192 right now. That's what I'm looking for because, you know, when we're talking about the Rockies, we're talking about young players that can potentially be on the next Rockies team that is good, that is competing for a wild card spot. Ezekiel Tovar checks that box, and he has been bad here for about 3 to 4 weeks. So that's what I'm looking for tonight. It's Lorenzen on the mound tonight.
That should go well.
I want to say this. And I'm being dead serious right now. If you are a family that grew up the way that I did, me and my brother, quite frankly, raised by a single mom, and you didn't get to go to games because you just didn't go to games. It was just wasn't even discussed, okay? And you get priced out of these events that are at Ball Arena, that are at Mile High. Maybe you have a family of 5. There's 3 kids. Maybe you're a single mom or dad, and you don't get to go to games. Man, put a coat on, double layer, and go to that game tonight. Because tonight's game against the New York Mets, now if you go see the Mets in Queens, you're going to pay out of your nose, but you can see the New York Mets and some star power against another Major League Baseball team tonight for about $5 to get in the door. Now, if you wanted to sit in the lower section, you could sit in the lower section of Coors Field tonight for $10 to $15. You can sit behind home plate in the first 10 rows for under $100. So whoever you are in your walk of life, if you don't get to go to games and you just want to be in the building, you can get in there for a family of 4 for around $20 tonight. If you can go to the games, but you have to sit at the very top and you dreamed of someday of sitting down low, tonight is the night. Put a coat on, double, triple layer. It's going to be chilly, but it is the most affordable Denver sports ticket of the calendar year is tonight.
No, that's well said, man. It's a good opportunity for sure. You can go sit really close, and you can watch Juan Soto hit a baseball to the party deck. That should be fun.
You could sit in the first 3 rows behind home plate for less than $90 tonight.
I love it.
That's crazy.
You going to go?
No, I'll be home next to the 3 count. 1, 2. But my kids, my wife and kids were there 2 days ago watching the Mets. They had that 3:40 start. We pulled them right out of school and went to the game. All right, man. Just as I was giving Joel Embiid some level of credit after his mini run here in the postseason, he's been really good. He has now already been ruled out for game number 2 in New York tonight. He's got an ankle/hip. All right, and man, we'll see what that looks like tonight. But also, it's game 2 of the Spurs and Minnesota Timberwolves series after Minnesota went into San Antonio and stunned the Spurs as a 9.5-point underdog in game number 1. Spurs a chance to tie that series at 1-1. And I'm looking at San Antonio, interestingly, tonight because they haven't been through anything ever. They are way ahead of schedule. They went from 35 wins to 60. And so they don't have that accumulation of scars that I talk about with the NBA specifically. But now you have some adversity. I want to see how they handle it tonight.
Definitely. It'll be fascinating. But I think the million-dollar question in this Spurs-Wolves series, does it make you feel better or worse as a Nuggets fan if Minnesota pulls off the upset? Better or worse? Because part of me would go, oh, it makes me feel better. Minnesota was great. They beat the Spurs. They're going to the Western Conference Finals. And then part of me goes, nah, I feel 1,000 times worse because that should be Denver. That should be Denver upsetting the Spurs and then going and facing the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. I think I would land on it would make me feel worse if Minnesota wins this series.
Here's where I land on it. My sentiment about the Wolves is still so Nuggets-centric that I'll feel worse either way. If they win, I'll say, I told you San Antonio could be had, and that could have been you. And if they lose, I'll be saying, you couldn't even beat the team that couldn't get out of the second round. That's even maybe more humbling, if not humiliating. So I just feel terrible about the Nuggets, and nothing that happens in the second round while they're at home is going to make me feel any better about it.
Yeah, that's well said. It's a no-win situation. There's no doubt about it. But imagine if Minnesota goes to the Western Conference Finals. We're going to say that's the path we wanted, right? We wanted San Antonio in round 2. We fought for the number 3 seed to get San Antonio in round 2 and avoid OKC, and yet we could all be watching Minnesota take on the Thunder and not the Nuggets.
God, what a shame. Next in the 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
So how about this? The Denver Broncos have extended an invite to Broncos rookie camp this week to quarterback E.J. Warner. Who is E.J. Warner? Well, that is the son of Pro Football Hall of Famer Kurt Warner. Kind of an interesting nugget here this week.
Yeah, very cool. Obviously, Kurt Warner, his story is incredible. Where he was in his life and then coming back and winning a Super Bowl with the then St. Louis Rams and going on to have an unbelievable career that he's turned into a great media one as well. Makes me feel old, Zach. Makes me feel old. That E.J. Warner, son of Kurt, going to be out there tossing around pigskins. Is he going to make the Broncos? No. But is it nice of them to give him a look? And maybe, just maybe, E.J. Warner ends up on someone's practice squad? You never know. Because what's in his DNA? Overcoming resiliency, just like his father. Mini camps, rookie mini camps, not that exciting. But you get the son of a Hall of Famer in there. Sure, I'll pay attention. Get the reports. How did E.J. Warner throw the pigskin down there at Broncos Park, powered by Common Spirit?
Yeah, I'll have one eye on it should anything leak out about how he performed this week. All right, shifting gears here. ESPN ranked the offseason for every team in the Big 12. Where did Deion Sanders' Buffaloes stack up? We'll get to it next.
The Nuggets need a fresh spark. So why bring back David Edelman? After another postseason full of issues, confusing rotations, and tough questions, Denver doubles down on its original mistake. Is this loyalty or lack of imagination? Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Folks, Sunday is Mother's Day. You need a special gift, something luxurious yet affordable. And I know restaurants, flowers, candies, very popular. But I'm telling you what, she leads a stressful life, does so much juggling between her family and her job. Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here with a great idea. This year, buy her a few hours of peace and quiet at Beau Visage Skincare and Spa. They specialize in wonderful services like luxurious European facials, relaxing massages, and a bunch of other great stuff. Folks, I've been to Beau Visage myself. I promise you, this place is first class all the way. It's professional, first class. They do a terrific job at very competitive prices. For details, all you have to do is pick up the phone, 303-779-5002, or online at bvspa.com. This Mother's Day, give her the gift of rest and relaxation. Treat her like a queen. Treat her to a day at Beau Visage Skincare and Spa, 303-779-5002, or bvspa.com.
When a semi-truck hits you, it's not always just a fender bender. First, it's the missed work. Then the medical bills pile up. And these big rig companies can move fast with teams of lawyers, investigators, and denials. If you're not ready, you're already behind. At the Berg Simpson Law Firm, we've handled these cases for decades. So if you've been struck by an 18-wheeler, call us at Berg Simpson today.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 303-790-2525. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives.
Cecil Lammy here from my friends at SodaDietNutrition.com. Now, 5 years ago, I lost 60 pounds because of soda, and I'm never going back. I've never gained the weight back. I never will, because SodaDietNutrition.com, they taught me how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat. It's simply magnificent. I want you to call them up, 866-800-SODA, where you can join Soda for a short time to have results that last a lifetime. Soda weight loss is now SodaDietNutrition.com, and you've got to have these guys on your side, because the weight loss journey, it can be tough. There can be struggles. Having a real nutritionist there available via text to help you out with any sort of questions, concerns, sometimes it's just straight up encouragement. It's SodaDietNutrition.com, and there's no mystery pills, mystery injections, any mystery chemicals you're putting in your body. You're doing it the right way. Learn how. Join the program. SodaDietNutrition.com, 866-800-SODA, because SOTA is, say it with me, state of the art.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more. Getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
For over a decade, Bluebird Windows and Doors of Denver's been servicing the Front Range with products built to withstand Colorado's unpredictable weather. Bluebird's Sunrise Collection windows are built to last a lifetime and are backed by strong warranties. Right now, buy 3, get 1 free through May. Mention you heard about Bluebird from me, Mike Evans. You'll save an additional 5%. Enjoy the outdoors through energy-efficient Bluebird windows. Visit gobluebirdco.com. Bluebird Windows and Doors. Make today a Bluebird day.
Now is the best time to buy. Get ahead of the competition and get the deal you want on the home you really want. Maximize your savings with lowest rate for life, and if the market does improve, we can save you money without any additional lender fees or appraisal fees. We're here for you today and tomorrow and celebrating 30 years of helping homeowners with expanded approvals, low rates, credit improvements, and more. Call U.S. Mortgages at 303-LOW-RATE.
All loans subject to approval and change. License number 392126.
Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry buys, sells, and services pre-owned Rolex, Cartier, and all luxury Swiss watches. So if you're looking to make a change in your watch collection or just looking to sell, come to Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry.
Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry, located in the Highlands Ranch Town Center or online at MatthewsFineWatches.com.
You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, we'll get back to the Avs here right at the top of the hour. I said going into the last break that ESPN ranked the offseason for every team in the Big 12. Where did Deion's buff stack up? Before we get to that, and I know some people are just tired of this story, but I have to mention it because it's just another installment. Somehow, some way, there's another micro chapter in the story that is Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini. How could there be more, right? Like, how could there be more? They're together in Scottsdale with their fingers intertwined, and they're laying poolside. They both vehemently reject it, and it's laughable and all this stuff. And then the photos come out of them at the casino, and, you know, she resigns, and then there's speculation she named her second kid Mike. I mean, it's sick. It's sick.
And then ESPN absolutely dunked on them with the Celtics gone fishing graphic.
Yes.
And they're on the boat doing the Leo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet Titanic pose.
Yes. yes. So today, TMZ just comes out a couple minutes ago that at one point in 2021, these two rented a private boat together for a day on the water, just two of them. This is in Putnam County, Tennessee, back in June 2021. And they were out on the water for around 3 hours. And people recognized them when they were renting the boat. And Diana Rossini refused to take pictures with anyone, okay? And what they wanted is them to get in a picture together with the staff. And she refused. Now, Vrabel posted with the staff, asked them not to post anything publicly, okay? And what makes this a story, because it's just another little chapter of them being together, what makes this a little bit different is that Rossini was pregnant. It's just sick.
Yeah. I mean, it's a punchline. Obviously, when you put them on the graphic, it's a punchline. But ultimately, there was some stuff going on here that is just appalling. Like, let's call it what it is. She's pregnant on a boat with Mike Vrabel, who's not her husband.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Not that they're the first people to ever have an affair, but it just feels gross.
They were kind of brazen with it. They're such public figures, and you were
especially him. She's a public figure in the sense of, yeah, she covers the NFL. People know who she is. This dude won Super Bowls with the Patriots. He's the head coach of the Titans, eventually the head coach of New England. I mean, Sean Payton is what? A top 10 famous person who lives in Denver, Colorado?
Oh, yeah.
The head coach of an NFL team is very famous.
Right.
And you use the word brazen. People know who you are. You are going to go get recognized if you rent a boat together.
Crazy. She was pregnant. She was pregnant with her husband's kid. Well, we think.
She was pregnant with a kid.
God. And then what makes it even more like just rotten is that she, shortly after this boat rental, posted a picture of her and her husband on social media and is talking about how great it was to spend time. It's just nasty.
Are they still married?
I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to be a fly on the wall of any of those households. Anyway, and I feel like I have to shoehorn this in because I want to every time. It's destructive to their homes. Like, some people laugh, and I know that inside the NBA guys and stuff, but these homes are being ripped apart. Child's hearts are breaking. It's not good.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for Diana. I don't feel bad for Mike. I certainly feel bad for the kids in both families.
Yeah. All right. ESPN ranked the offseason for every team in the Big 12. Where did Deion's Buffs stack up? So they're looking at key additions, key departures, high school recruiting. They're looking at the whole thing. Number 1 in the Big 12, who had the best offseason according to the folks at ESPN, is Texas Tech, followed by BYU, followed by Arizona, followed by Houston, followed by Oklahoma State, rounding out the top 5. Then it went to TCU, Arizona State, and Utah, and they had CU in there at number 9. So the 9th best offseason in a league of 16. So kind of perfectly average according to these forecasts. Put however much stock into these as you want. Some key additions: Danny Scudero, he can play. Wide receiver out of San Jose State, he was a fantastic player. DeAndre Moore Jr., another wide receiver, a defensive lineman, Santana Hopper. Key departures, we know Jordan Seaton ended up at LSU. Amarion Miller. Did Amarion Miller end up at Arizona State? Yeah, that was the case. So he'll stay in the league. Tawfiq Bayard, the fantastic safety, all gone. Where are you at with CU football here?
Yeah, it's interesting. Last time I was hanging out with you, it was about 3 weeks ago when we saw the spring game footage. Not of the actual game, of them coming out of the tunnel and how small the players looked.
That's right.
So the fact they're actually 9th on this list is encouraging because based on that video footage that everyone joked that could have been Cherry Creek running out of the tunnel, could have been pick your favorite high school running out of the tunnel, 9th seems pretty good to me, Zach. I would have expected 15th or 16th because the shine is totally gone. The shine's gone. The playing for Deion Sanders, for whatever reason, isn't as cool now as it was 2-3 years ago. That's just a fact.
Well, for whatever reason, it might be because he's not a good football coach, and these guys want to be successful playing football. I would start there.
But there's also a lot of guys who want to play all these primetime games because they think, if I play on ABC every week or ESPN or CBS or NBC, I'm going to get noticed
Is that
more.
still happening, though?
I don't think so. I think you're going to be flipping around looking for a Buffs game at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night, and it's going to be on a channel you didn't know existed.
Well, we'll see how this all shakes out. If you want to let us know how you feel about the Buffs heading into Deion's, what is this, season number 4 now?
Flies. How many games are they going to win? Like, if you had to make an early prediction, where are you at? Will they make a bowl game? Because to me, that feels like the absolute ceiling.
I'd say
is making a bowl game.
I say, and this is not an official prediction, but I'd say they probably win 4 or 5 games, something like that.
And not bowl eligible.
Not bowl eligible.
That'd be my gut as well.
Yeah, 35 scholarship players departed into the portal in the offseason. 16 of those guys had started games for the Buffs. You're starting all over again. all with your coaches, all with your roster, and typically that's not a good thing. All right, shifting gears here. The Avalanche tamed the Wild and put this series in a bit of a vice grip. What was our biggest takeaway from the Game 2 W? That's next.
I've got to tell you about Champ Honda. If you're looking for an SUV that can handle Colorado, check out the new 2026 Honda CR-V. It's comfortable, capable, and perfect for everything from your daily drive to weekend getaways. Right now, Champ Honda has the largest inventory since before COVID, so you've got more options than ever. And I love this. Champ Honda does things differently. Their one price, one person, 1 hour philosophy means a fair price up front and way less time at the dealership. They never charge dealer handling fees.
This is the sound of Jack, buzz cutting his way to a small fortune. To Jack, every time he cuts his own hair, that's $50 right in his pocket. If Jack sees DIY buzz cuts as a saving strategy, Wells Fargo is right behind him. And with their mobile app, tracking his savings is easy. Oh, ouch. However you make money work, we can work with that.
Mobile carriers' message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
All right, fellas, Mark Schlereth here for some real talk. If you're over 50, there's a good chance you're dealing with an enlarged prostate. Getting up at night, weak stream, all of it. Here's good news. You can get a procedure called PAE, prostate artery embolization. That's a minimally invasive procedure that's done through a tiny pinhole and you're home the same day. Colorado Advanced Endovascular in Lakewood has top-tier interventional radiologists and a boutique setting with personalized care you won't find anywhere else. Visit coloradoae.com to schedule a consultation. That's coloradoae.com.
I'm Rob Wilhite. If you've been in a car accident, you need experience that wins. For almost 50 years in Colorado, my firm has recovered over $1 billion for crash victims. Call 303-GOOD-LAW or visit willhitewins.com. That's willhitewins.com.
If you're considering sedation dentistry and want to learn more about it, Clarkson Dental can help. When it comes to your health, you want to make sure you know all the details. The highly trained professionals at Clarkson Dental have your answers. Learn more at coloradosedation.com.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Free your team from time-consuming procurement tasks. Discover smart business buying where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is Terry Wickstrom. I want to tell you about a financial product I personally really believe in. A home equity conversion mortgage from Mad River Mortgage, your reverse mortgage specialist. The HECM program's only requirements are to live in the home, do basic upkeep, pay property tax and homeowner's insurance. No monthly mortgage payment is required. For more information, contact my friend Mike Rabin at 303-396-2804 or go to madrivermortgage.com. NMLS 1504779.
Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. It's no secret, the price of HVAC equipment is going to increase this summer. May is one of the best times of the year to buy a new HVAC system. Be ready for a hot, hot summer and get the best prices of the season. Finance a new HVAC system for $200 a month or get 0% interest only at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. Powered by Regen RX. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Well, it's not over, but the series is 2-0. After the Avs roll last night 5-2 and put the Wild in a cage. They caged the Wild. The Avs were animal control last night, taking control of this series. What was your biggest takeaway from game number 2, Will?
That Nathan MacKinnon just played out of his mind. Best player in the world stuff, and that's not breaking news to anyone, obviously, but for a guy that there was tiny little bit of chatter about after games 1 and 2 here against the Kings, he was ridiculous. Think about everything he did last night, Zach. He sets up your first 2 goals with gorgeous passes. Really nice finishes, particularly by Natchez and then Landeskog as well. And then the fourth one, it was just vintage McKinnon.
Yeah.
Gustafsson had no shot on that puck. One-timer, I don't know the exact miles per hour, but obviously somewhere in the mid to high 90s. It just sends Ballerina into a tizzy because they go up 4-1, and you're very aware they're going to win the hockey game.
And it looked like they lost track of him. He was in the middle and just floated to the left side.
Exactly.
And Kadri saw him. That was sweet.
And then he also, for good measure, blows up Quinn Hughes and Matt Boldy.
That was amazing.
And he gives Hughes a face full of ice, hits Boldy, and all these Minnesota fans, Zach, they claim to know hockey up in Minnesota. Oh, come after McKinnon. When's someone going to run McKinnon? Learn puck. It's a legal hit. It's absolutely a legal hit.
Oh, yeah, both of them were.
And just because Boldy goes into the boards a little awkwardly doesn't mean it's not legal. You couldn't help but think, and yes, Nathan MacKinnon wishes he could go home to that gold medal, but you couldn't help but think little bit of revenge for what happened in Italy in February.
No doubt. No doubt. And, I actually tweeted in the moment, and I figured someone would have beat me to it, but I'm like McKinnon laying the wood to Boldy and Hughes thinking of that stuffed animal. And that little tweet went baby viral on me. So other people thinking that same thing of that image of him being handed that dumbass stuffed animal and just twisting off that head of it, right?
Well, do you remember what he told Eric Johnson too, by the way, real quick? Why he was so upset with the stuffed animal? It wasn't the stuffed animal as much as it was the guy handing him out was given, as McKinnon called it, bro shakes. And he goes, he's giving everyone bro shakes. He's like, I don't know this dude. I just lost an extremely important hockey game. He's like, yo, give me a bro shake, and here's your stuffed animal. So I do think, for the record, he was annoyed with the plushie. He was even more annoyed with the dude giving him a bro shake that he had never met in his life.
Well, I would say he's probably most annoyed that he just lost a gold medal
and missed a half-empty net.
Oh my gosh! But you can't change the past, but you can sometimes atone for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you go out and win the Stanley Cup, win Conn Smythe, and that last night really was a big leap forward for Nate. Let's put a pin in him because I want to talk about him in dedicated fashion here shortly. But last night was just another chapter in a dominant story here, just flat out. And teams that you probably heard me or someone else say, teams that go up 2-0 in a series go on to win 86% of the time historically. And if I told you 2 hours before the game, Will, if I said, hey, I've been to the future, my man, the Wild are going to have more shot attempts in 5-on-5. They're going to have more shot attempts, more shots on goal, create more high-danger chances. And if you include the power play, the Wild are going to have 14 high-danger chances. You might have some pause about the Avs winning that game. So to have all those things to be true and still lose by 3 goals has got to be a bit demoralizing if you're Minnesota.
Oh, absolutely. And if you had told me all those things, I would have said we're going to need a great Scott Wedgwood game. And that's exactly what the Avs got.
No doubt.
Last night. The first goal was not his fault, to be abundantly clear. You can't let Kaprizov get behind you within 6 seconds on a faceoff. It's just a defensive lapse. It's a breakdown. I asked Jared Bednar about that last night. He explained it adequately, that they were frustrated. You get all this momentum from the Natchez goal, and 6 seconds later, puck's in the back of your net, but he was actually really happy with his guys too, because that game 1 was chaotic. It was fun for the fans. It wasn't fun for the head coach. I promise you that. He loves scoring 9 goals. He's going to get even grayer giving up 6 goals. He said last night he was happy that it settled down. And of course it settled down. They didn't score again for 50-ish minutes of hockey time?
Literally.
2+ hours of real time in between Minnesota goals. So with all that said, you would have had to have Scott Wedgwood play well, and he certainly did. But also, I can't get over the fact that Minnesota comes to Denver and scores 8 goals, not only goes home with 2 L's.
Weren't close.
2 L's by 3 goals each.
Crazy.
They scored 8 goals against the best team in the league in 2 games. Neither even went to overtime. Neither was particularly nail-biting. I guess when they got it to 7-6 in game 1, it got a little dicey there, but then Kale quickly made it 8-6. The Wild, if you had a latte with them, Sean Payton style.
And just to be fair, they were down in game number 1.
They were.
Right? 5-4. So I think that's the time where it kind of got dicey.
Yes, and they answered quickly and made it 5-5. That's a good point. But if you had a latte with the Wild today, they'd probably tell you they're cooked. We left a lot out there in Denver, and we have nothing to show for it. We can't even come home and say, well, we lost that one on a fluky bounce in OT.
Right.
None of that happened.
Right.
They lost both games by 3 goals. Obviously, the Avalanche played the King style, which was bunched up and hard to watch, but they still got victories. Now they're saying to Minnesota, you want to skate up and down with us? Sure, we'll play that game. We'll skate up and down with you guys, and we'll kick your butt both times.
It's we say styles make fights. I've been saying this for a long time about this specific group. They can play whatever style you want to, whatever you want to. They have a jab of Mayweather, a haymaker of Tyson or Deontay Wilder, and a jaw of Morgan Hagler. They scored. Kaprizov scored 6 seconds after the initial Netchis goal. They didn't blink. They were down against the Kings with 3 minutes left in game 2. They didn't blink. The maturity of this group, and when I say the maturity, yes, the poise throughout a game, but also the more literal maturity. You have a Wild team that's trying to lean on you, trying to get under your skin, like those bugs in The Mummy. You remember that movie?
Yep.
That's what they're trying to do, and the Avs are not letting them at all. And that is experience, that is poise, that is maturity. I love what I'm seeing, and if you have eyes, you have to love what you're seeing, because I don't know what the weakness is. 6 games into the postseason, on the heels of the President's Trophy, I don't know. We could have said the power play or special teams. They went 2 of 5 last night, and they're now 3 of 7 in the series, 4 of 18 in 6 playoff games. That's 22%. That's the 4th best power play in the postseason, and their penalty kill is the elite of the elite. So I don't know. I'm trying with a magnifying glass to find the chink in their armor, and I can't.
No, they're very deep. They're incredibly deep. Their second power play unit could be the first power play unit for probably a dozen NHL teams.
Mm-hmm.
If you went to the bottom half of the league, you trot out that second unit, that would be better than whatever they're putting out there on their first unit. That's how deep they are. That's how well constructed the roster is, to the point where you have guys like Ross Colton, who would be a second or third liner on 2/3 of the NHL teams, getting healthy scratched.
Can't play
in game 1 and game 2.
Yep.
You know where Ross Colton sat? He sat up next to me in the press box. Not
Right.
exactly right next to me, but he was sitting right there watching the game. And he had this look in his face like, I can't believe I am healthy sitting up here watching this team, because that's the competitive spirit in him. He knows on most squads he's a top 6, top 9 guy, and they didn't have a jersey for him. That's how deep they are. That's how deep they are, is that the healthy scratches are household names. You have a ton of listeners to your show that know everything about the Avs. You also have listeners to your show that are more casual hockey fans.
Sure.
They've at least heard of Ross Colton.
Oh, yeah.
And he's getting healthy scratched.
Right.
Shows you how deep they are.
I thought, separate from the McKinnon hits on Hughes and Boldy, I thought the moment from our guy, Brock Nelson, the hit that he put on Hartman in open ice, it was just elite. Just elite. And I love to see it. I thought the save of the game for Wedgie was when the Avs were a man down. And it was Hartman on the goal line to Kaprizov. And the way that Wedgwood shifted from right to left and just stoned Kaprizov, who's trying to go backdoor. And Makar doesn't get a stick all the way down. He doesn't block it. It was Lehkonen who was late. So you have 2 guys failing to make a play, and there's your goaltender picking them up. And I love to see it. We had some questions. Could they experiment with, Blackie in game number 2? No, they go with Wedgie. He answered the bell and some.
Yeah, and that would have made it 3-2, right?
Correct.
Whole different hockey game at that point. And then again, I've outlined it, but the Wild got frustrated, started taking bad penalties, and then McKinnon puts them up 4-1, and it was over.
Yeah, and it was
over.
It was after that save that was that big scrum with Parker Kelly and
Yes.
Boldy where the ref got hit. They were frustrated. They had a goal right there, and I think they score on that probably 8 out of 10 times, but one of the two where you didn't was last night with Scott Wedgwood playing above the X's and O's. I absolutely I love to see it, man. I love to see it. What was the best goal of the night for the Avs?
I mean, I'm going to rule out the empty netters. You're going 1 of 4 here.
But even that was impressive.
Yeah,
like
Val shot it all the way down.
It was a lob. He just lobbed it from like 180 feet, like silly.
And no fear of an icing call up, 2 goals, obviously, so he could go for it. I got to go McKinnon, the 4th one. It was just vintage. And I'm telling myself, can I just give you a peek into my mindset real quick?
Sure.
So I'm reporting down there. Your gut is, someone scored, tweet about it. Tweet about it. And I finally told myself after the 3rd goal, just listen to the goal horn for 15 seconds. Take in the crowd. You don't need to film it. Not everything in our lives has to be filmed.
Sure.
Just you. This is cool. You're here. You're in this building. And I did allow myself to do that on the McKinnon goal. I said, if your tweet goes 15 seconds later, no one's going to care. And that goal horn, dude, he gets a lot of attention nationally. It's out of control, and I love it as an Avs fan. If I was a fan of any other team, it would drive me nuts.
Yeah.
He abuses that goal horn, and
Dude,
it's incredible.
It feels like my 7-year-old son is in charge of it.
Exactly.
Just like, it's so good. It's so good. For me, my favorite goal came on the power play, and it was Landy to make it 2-1.
That was pretty.
Like, we have the phrase tic-tac-toe hockey because of sequences like that one last night. It's Kadri to Makar up top, and the gravity that he pulls, because he's been great from the blue line with that like sniper of a wrister that he has. But it goes to Netchus in the left circle, to Nate on the goal line, who one touches it to Gabe. Are you kidding me? Like, this is why when I watch stuff like last night, I'm like, this is what was frustrating during the season, where you had that much talent who works together like that and couldn't convert. Well, now the results are coming in wholesale fashion, and I love, love, love to see it.
It's so fun. I can't wait for Saturday already. That's the mindset I'm in.
Totally.
Like, this 3-day break, I was annoyed when the schedule came out. I'm even more annoyed now that we don't get to watch this product again until Saturday night.
Yep. I told my boy he can stay up for it, so we will be locked in Avs gear head to toe. All right, are we watching a Mount Rushmore player in the history of Denver sports play the best he ever has? I think the answer is yes, and we'll talk about him next.
The Colorado Avalanche put on a clinic, controlling every inch of the ice from start to finish. Speed, precision, relentless pressure define their game as they powered past the Wild with authority. 5 goals, terrific goaltending, and a defense that refused to bend. That was dominance in every sense. The Avalanche skate away with a decisive 5-2 victory, and just like that, they seize a commanding 2-0 series lead. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, Denver's playoff headquarters.
Cecil Lammy here for my friends at WindowNation.com. I know that May's weather is pretty nice, but you don't have to wait until the heat hits in May and beyond to try and avoid high energy bills. You need to upgrade your home's windows this month during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale. Imagine replacing all your windows. You get new energy efficient ones from WindowNation.com, and you get half of them for free. Plus, you could even get them with no money down. Schedule your fast, free consultation now at WindowNation.com.
Hello?
Hey sis, got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Hellsburg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great, I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% on timeless gifts for Mom. Shop at a store near you or at Hellsburg.com.
Spring is here, but if you're feeling exhausted with no energy and no sex drive, it may be time to head to Low T Center. 1 in 4 men has low testosterone. At Low T Center, you can book a free testosterone test and see if you qualify for TRT customized to your body by expert providers. Choose self-pay or insurance. You can even have your treatment shipped to your door. Low T Center's got the highest quality testosterone, and their providers tailor it to you, so you know it's effective. Put the spring back in your step. Head to lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com to book your TRT appointment today.
While medicine's greatest advancements look like the latest sci-fi, one of our most powerful tools is far more simple, more human. It's a calling to connect with purpose by treating people, not just patients. With innovations that amplify healing and lead to more personalized care, guided by the belief we all hold the power to heal. At Common Spirit Health, clinical excellence lives here. Human kindness lives here. Learn more at mountain.commonspirit.org.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
Want to enhance your landscape with a 100% natural product? Hi, I'm Roxy Medina, owner of Permagreen Organics. Permagreen Gorilla Hair and Shredded Red Cedar are both 100% natural cedar products. Permagreen Shredded Red Cedar comes directly from the debarking machines at lumber mills in Idaho, Washington, and Montana. That's where the best cedar is found. Permagreen Gorilla Hair is the same cedar, but it goes through another process where it is hammer milled and takes on a finer, mossy look. The color of these two products, of course, is natural. The wonderful aroma is natural as well. These products spread easily, lay down nicely, and hold up well in windy areas. They add a beautiful reddish-brown tint to the landscape. This year, go with the real deal. Buy Permagreen Gorilla Hair and Permagreen Shredded Red Cedar. You don't need a miracle, you need Permagreen.
I'm U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. We all seem to be in a rush these days, from work to driving our kids around. But when you're behind the wheel, please do not speed. A few minutes saved by going faster is never worth the risk. So follow the speed limit, enjoy the drive, maybe bring some snacks for the kids, and know that along the way, you're getting quality time with your family.
Paid for by NHTSA.
Spring is in the air, and Alev's long-lasting pain relief is here to keep you moving. The days are longer, and the flowers are blooming. Whether it's gardening, yard work, or just spending more time outdoors, spring has a way of getting us moving despite any body pain. That's where Aleve can keep you going. With just one dose, Aleve gives you long-lasting body pain relief for up to 12 hours. From sunup to sundown, Aleve's got your back. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. You know, I got an email from a guy named Mark, retired firefighter, tough guy. Never asked for help in his life, but he told me the rising costs of everything finally caught up to him. Groceries, insurance, prescriptions. It was all hitting at once. And he said, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I'm falling behind. I told him there's nothing to be embarrassed about because American Financing hears stories like this every day. They walked him through a refinance, looked at his whole financial picture, not just his credit card debt that had piled up. With a refinance, he learned he may delay 2 mortgage payments and may close in as fast as 10 days. Then he heard the average customer savings is $800 a month, and he said it felt like someone finally opened a window in a stuffy room. One payment, more breathing room, a chance to stop robbing Peter to pay Paul. American Financing is family-owned, licensed in all 50 states with salary-based mortgage consultants, no upfront fees, and no obligation. They helped Mark make his equity his exit strategy, and they can help you too. Call them at 303-695-7000 or online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 18234, NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan is brought to you by Roller Auction.
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
Are we watching a Mount Rushmore player in the history of Denver sports, at the peak of his powers. I wanted to have a dedicated conversation about Nathan MacKinnon because, yeah, there's a lot of stars on the ice last night. A lot of stars.
Sure.
You know, you think of someone like Cale Makar. You think of someone like Val Nichushkin, Taser. I mean, these are Olympians, Boldy, Hughes. But there's one star that is like the North Star that shined the brightest and has been shining the brightest in this postseason. And that is Nathan MacKinnon, who ends up with a 3-point night on the same evening that he scores his 59th playoff goal and passes Peter Forsberg for second in the history of the Avs, looking up at only Joe Sakic. In fact, MacKinnon had only 1 point through the first 3 games against the Kings. I know you remember this. But since then, he's put up 3 points in 3 consecutive games. And I went back and looked at his game log of the entire season, okay? There was only 1 point in the regular season where he had 3 consecutive games of 3 points or more. It was in November, if I'm not mistaken.
Long time ago.
Yeah, early November. So there's only one comp within a Hart Trophy season, and we'll see if he ends up actually winning it. But there's only one 3-game sequence in a Hart Trophy caliber season that can be put side by side with what he's doing in the postseason, with the season hanging in the balance. And I just think that as much and as often as we say, hey, we can't take Nikola Jokic for granted, the same sort of logic and appreciation applies to Nate Dogg.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you were fortunate enough to be in the building last night, or if you watched it on TV, you knew where 29 was at all times. It was just that kind of game. When 29 was out there, something special had a chance to happen literally every single time. And 3 times it did. And all 3 times he was a huge part of it. I think it's great that hockey does 2 assists, Zach. I think it's worthwhile. I think there's times in the NBA where a second assist is important. But there are some throwaway second assists. We all know that.
There are, of course.
There are throwaway second assists. None of his points last night were throwaway.
Mm-mm.
Brilliant pass to Natchez. Brilliant pass to Landeskog. And then a one-timer for the ages to put the Avs up 4-1. It was, I don't want to get carried away because it's so fresh, but it was one of the best hockey games I've ever seen him play.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate enough to have watched MacKinnon literally hundreds of times.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the best games he's ever played. Surefire future Hall of Famer, obviously.
No doubt.
Has a chance to be a 2-time Cup champion here in just a month and a half. Has a chance to be a 2-time Hart Trophy winner here in a month and a half.
Which would join only Jokic as a multiple MVP winner in the history of the 4 major sports in Denver sports.
And that Conn Smythe for playoff MVP, he's the favorite for that. Yes, he would have liked to win gold, but he can win 3 trophies that may even be greater than a gold medal, and certainly one, and that's the Cup.
Here was Jared Bednar talking about Nathan MacKinnon after last night's game.
Unbelievable tonight on both sides of the puck. The physicality, the defending details, the hunger to check pucks back in all 3 zones, and the speed and pace that he played with early in the game. It was like he was shot out of a cannon, right? So I thought that's one of his best games of the playoffs for sure. And it's not about production. He's gonna produce, but kind of reminds me of, like, he's just doing whatever it takes for our team to win, because that's what he wants the most. It's not about scoring goals, and he's going to hold himself to a standard that he wants to help produce every night, because it's the best way for our team to win. But he's committed in all the other areas right now, and that game was off the charts in my opinion.
Off the charts. Here was the captain, Landeskog, talking about it's easy to lead when you have guys like Nate.
Having Nate makes my job a lot easier, for sure. We talk about it every time, but he's our driving force offensively. And tonight, and really since the playoffs started, defensively he's been a beast as well. So, you talk about my leadership, but I think Nate's leadership is something that goes a lot under the radar. It means a lot to our team.
I don't know, and to everyone it's going to be a little bit different. But whatever the current Mount Rushmore in the history of Denver sports is, concerning the 4 major American sports here, MacKinnon, he's going to supplant someone.
Do I have to pick one from each sport?
No.
So I could leave a Rocky off for as great as Todd Helton was. I could leave him off if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because I think the slam dunks, and I mean utter slam dunks.
Start with John.
Are John Elway, Nikola Jokic,
Joe Sakic.
and Joe Sakic.
Yeah.
So I think that 4 spot's up for grabs.
So in my head, that's what I had too. It's Elway, Jokic, Sakic. And right now, it would probably be...
You can't go wrong because there's
Patrick
about
Waugh?
10 possibilities.
Patrick Waugh?
Waugh's certainly one of them. Peyton Manning for what he did in his 4 years here.
No, it's the 4 years thing. I can't do it.
Okay, then I'll give you Von Miller. Not single-handedly.
No.
Oh,
Well,
think
maybe,
about what
maybe,
he
maybe,
did on the way
maybe.
to Super Bowl 50. He tore up Ben Roethlisberger, tore up Tom Brady, and tore up the MVP Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Von's got a strong case.
He's got a strong case. There's no doubt. Would he be your fourth? I'd have to
For
put
the
more
next
time into it.
6 weeks, he would be my fourth. But I think where this segment originated, if Nathan McKinnon gets that second cup
and a second heart, it's a slam dunk case.
He bumps Von Miller off my Mount Rushmore.
Okay. I don't think I would have Von there for right now.
Who would you have? Would you have a Todd Helton?
I would probably have a Patrick Waugh over a Von Miller.
And over a Todd Helton.
And over a Todd Helton, yeah.
In your Rockies. Or you're not wearing Rockies, you're wearing Avs. My bad.
I'd have to put more thought into it. It's sort of like an impromptu. I didn't think we were going to actually go through the exercise because I don't want to do that like cavalier and just throw it out there. But the 3 are established. It's Elway, it's Jokic, it's Sakic, and you could probably debate about the 4th one. I don't think the first 3 are debatable.
Right, but that 4th debate may change an awful lot here come the middle of June.
If it's a second cup and it's a second Hart Trophy, and McKinnon joins only Jokic as a multiple-time MVP, and it comes with a second championship, and if it's a Conn Smythe, the conversation's over.
Right, because you're never going to bump John, and you're never going to bump Joe, and I don't think anyone wants to bump Nikola, so if Nathan claims that 4 spots, sorry, some little second grader out there is going to have to come for one of their 4 spots in 25 years, but we're a long ways off from that happening.
All right. Well, if you want to react to that conversation, you can hit us up on the RamosLaw.com text line, 303-713-1043. Denver sports fans should be bracing themselves for a move that will be jarring. That's next.
Colorado Avalanche fans, take notice. Brock Nelson has earned elite recognition. Named one of just 3 finalists for the NHL Selke Trophy. Awarded to the league's top defensive forward. Night after night, Nelson delivers relentless two-way play, shutting down opponents while driving offense. And history is on the line. Wow. If he takes home the Selke, he'd become the first player in Avalanche history to win it. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
For many of us, it's happened before. Your hair is thinning, crowns disappearing. Maybe the hair loss has you feeling your identity is lost altogether. The solution that worked for me, it's an incredible yet simple one-day treatment that starts growing your own natural hair the very next day. And it's guaranteed to grow for life. It's the Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They help retain what you have, but what if you want your own natural hair permanently in specific areas? From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to world-class Dr. Tanya Paul's, it's not maybe your hair will regrow, it's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's why Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 720-459-HAIR. That's 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Hey, it's Zach By here for 5280 Exteriors, your siding, windows, decking, and roofing specialist. During the month of May, 5280 Exteriors are offering you $1,000 off a new project. 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality.
When you've been hurt after a traumatic car crash, you don't need a sales pitch from an attorney with big promises and a loud voice. You need a team who fights for real results fast. That's why so many across the country choose the Berg Simpson Law Firm. Berg Simpson is nationally recognized, but is local right here in Colorado. So give us a call and let our team fight for the results you deserve today.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 303-790-2525. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th.
As a mother myself, I'll tell you, she is not going to remind you. She is way too busy being mom.
Which is why we are. Make your Mother's Day unforgettable with a little something truly special from Williams Jewelers.
Prices start at under $500, and we have thousands of fine jewelry choices from names she knows and loves, like Gabriel and Company, Tacori, and Hearts on Fire.
How about a beautiful diamond cross or a precious sterling or solid gold locket?
A Monica Rich Cassan locket with the kids' pictures inside will become a family heirloom she'll cherish for life. We promise.
This Mother's Day, come home to family.
Come home to Denver's first family of fine jewelers, Williams Jewelers.
Where Colorado shines.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers in Cherry Creek North on 3rd Avenue between Fillmore and Detroit, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
No tax returns, no W-2s, no kidding. We have expanded our guidelines to help even more people qualify for a loan to buy a home or save money on one they already own. Call U.S. Mortgages at 303 low rate.
All loans subject to approval and change. License number 392126.
I've never put much stock in astrology, but with the new multiplier scratch, the stars are aligned for some pretty big prizes. Because no matter your moon sign or what Mercury's up to, your win can get multiplied up to 200 times with prizes up to $1 million, which could steer your life into a very interesting new phase. New multiplier scratch from the Colorado Lottery. Multiply your win up to 200 times. Must be 18 to play.
When disaster hits your home, it's game time. Water in the basement, fire damage, mold creeping in. Don't sit on the sidelines. Call Able. Able Restoration is your first round draft pick for emergency response, mitigation, and full rebuild. We move fast, protect your property, and fight for you with insurance start to finish. This isn't practice, this is your home. And when it's time to step up and protect what matters most, bring Able to the table. Call 303-590-5600. Go Able.
Bring Able to the table.
Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Powered by Advanced Tax Solutions. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, I don't want to get too carried away with the the Mount Rushmore conversation. It was kind of like a throwaway line, and then we started to talk about it. And then I peeked down at the RamosLaw.com text line, or just pull up our YouTube chat presented by Shop Honda. It's like, whoa. All right, no. Not now. Not now. That's for maybe, I don't know, June, something like that. And we will have fun with it. But I was just trying to articulate a point that's where we're at with Nathan McKinnon. And for some people, he's the answer right now. But here in 2 months, it could be unequivocal and open and shut is basically what I was trying to say.
And you were trying to point out that we should appreciate in the moment that we are watching a top 4 player, all sports, in the history of Denver.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
It's so cool, man. We are blessed. We are lucky. All right, so shifting gears here. We'll get back to Avs at the top of the hour. But before we do, I said going into the previous break that Denver sports fans should be bracing themselves for a move that will be jarring. I mentioned this yesterday in passing. We didn't really spend a lot of dedicated time on it, but I do believe Jamal Murray has played his last game in Denver. And it has been a legendary run. All right. And I know there are posters on walls right now all over this region of Jamal Murray. And his jersey will hang forevermore from the ceiling of Ball Arena. That being said, if you take a look at the realistic levers that you can pull to make a meaningful change, one of them was the head coach. Well, they're not going to do that. That's already out. The other is Jamal Murray. It's not Christian Brown. It's not Aaron Gordon. It's not Jokic for sure. It's Jamal. In terms of what you can get in return from where his stock is at after his first All-Star season, and I believe soon to be All-NBA season. But also, there's that, but it's also just acknowledging that this thing has ran its course here in Denver. And Jamal has been a great Nugget, not a good Nugget, a great one. But it is time. And so it's two things. It's the value on the return to reshape this roster around Jokic, but it's also an acknowledgement of this is 3 straight years since the championship. You were the worst version of yourself last year in Game 7 when you had 5 points in the first half against Oklahoma City. You were the worst version in an all-important Game 6 when you went for 12 points on 4 of 17 shooting. And moreover, it's just what my eyes are telling me because you can't explain it away. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is gone. That's who used to have him in handcuffs, and then he'd hand him over to Ant at the end of games. Well, he's gone, and now it's Jaden McDaniels. And when Jaden McDaniels wasn't out there and it wasn't Anthony Edwards, it was Jalen Clark. It was Terrence Shannon Jr. Like they had 4 guys on the current team that could lock up Jamal. And I fear that if you hang on to this stock, it'll be too late, and it'll be you'll have it in your hand for too long. And unfortunately for me, considering all the options and the landscape of this conversation, and it's a heavy one, I do believe that is the one move that they can make. You'll get the return and be able to reshape this thing and maintain a championship window. I have very, very little optimism that if they run it back, which if Jamal comes back, it'll be the run-it-back Nuggets, no doubt. You're just a first or second round exit here moving forward, just like you have been for 3 years.
Yeah, you're making a lot of sense. And it's super unfortunate because we thought that Jamal Murray would be the Robin to Jokic's Batman for multiple championships. And it did happen once, and it was awesome. And I heard you say yesterday, thank goodness they got one, and I felt the same way because as a Nuggets fan my whole life, I wasn't sure I'd ever see one. But that said, the ending of this movie was supposed to be Jamal plays his whole career in Denver. He gets a couple rings, maybe 3 if we're feeling real greedy, retires a Nugget, yada, yada, yada. He may now have a second chapter that isn't just, the epilogue of the book. He may have 5-6 years in a new city where he's an all-star once again and a good player on a contender. But because the Nuggets are so hamstrung with a horrible Christian Brown contract that no one's going to take on, an AG contract that unfortunately is not aging well because his body's not cooperating.
And by the way, his extension hasn't even started yet.
Right. Neither is Christian's.
Right.
And Cam Johnson has some value, but that's not the big shakeup that I think most fans feel the Nuggets need. There really is no other option if you're going to make a trade. Now, that said, you think Jamal's played his last game in a Nuggets uniform. I don't, because I think they're going to run it back. Because if you didn't fire your head coach 24 to 48 hours after that disaster, what gives me faith that the front office and ownership is going to make some big earth-shattering trade that shakes up this core? I'm not so sure. They should. You and I agree on that. They should. Will they? That might be where we differ.
Yeah, I think that's where we disagree. Well, I'll tell you what. If you don't and you run it back, you know what's at risk? It's pissing off the big fella. He just said into a microphone, we're not close. We just lost in the first round. And if you're pitched to him as he is signing maybe his last contract with the Nuggets, certainly the last contract in his prime here this summer, if your pitch is, we know you love it in Denver and we're going to keep everything the same, that's not a good enough pitch.
But he also said in that same microphone, in that same press conference, still want to be a Nugget forever.
Yeah. Yep, he did. He did. I don't want to make this about, hey, Jokic might not sign. I think Jokic is going to sign the contract. That said, you have to feel uncomfortable organizationally. You've lost in the second round or first round for 3 straight seasons. You won the title in 23. The next time you'll have a chance to compete in the playoffs will be 2027. And, you have to make meaningful change. Adelman should have never been hired in the first place. He probably should be dismissed. They're not doing that okay. I think that's unwise, but this is the path that they're taking. He's the one move that moves the needle, and you could reshape this roster, add athleticism, add ball handling. You have to do that. It's stymied you for years in a row now, and the Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic two-man game, unfortunately, turned into something that was almost unrecognizable.
Has it been figured out a little bit?
I think it's been figured out to a degree, and I think that just the overall execution from Jamal just in general, man, when I saw Tyus Jones come off the bench, someone who was on the street as a buyout guy, look like he had more success against Minnesota's defense than Jamal, that was deeply disturbing to me. And
it was in Game 6.
It was.
The game you are getting sent home. The game that's ending your year. You talk about those 3 straight exits, Zach. What do they all have in common? Gut punches.
Yeah.
Unique reasons, but all 3 gut punches.
Yeah.
Minnesota Game 7, 20-point lead, you blow it. Oklahoma City Games 4 and 5, you should have had. You should have won that series in 6. And then this year, you're playing the JV squad, the G League squad, whatever you want to call them. Dudes who literally were not in Chris Finch's rotation other than necessity from injuries sent you home.
Yeah. Man. Okay.
But do you think it happens? Real quick. Do you think Jamal gets traded?
Yes.
I don't. I really don't.
Well, if Jamal's not traded, then everything's going to stay the same.
Exactly. They're going to run it back. They're going to win 50-plus games. They're going to have 18,000 people in Ball Arena every night, and the Cronkies will stay happy.
Wow. Well, I'll say this. Today, a Nugget legend, all right, we'll get back to Avs at the top of the hour, but today, a Denver Nuggets legend criticized someone that made me say, wow, because it has to do with something that if I could undo anything in Denver sports in the last 10 years, I know what I would do, and it has something to do with the criticism that came from a Nuggets legend today. We'll get to all of it as we're on the doorstep of 40 consecutive minutes of commercial-free sports talk coming up next.
Hey guys, your boy Stink here today about my long-term buddy Troy Hansford. And if you're thinking about selling your house for any reason, now might be the time to sell, still get top dollar. Believe it or not, my guy Troy is still offering his $5,000 guarantee. What is it, you ask? Well, if he can't sell your house at your price on your timeline that you agree upon beforehand, bam, going to cut you a check for $5,000. Who else makes the offer? Nobody I've ever heard of. And he makes that offer because he continues to spend a ton of money marketing his listings, has about 100 families approved and ready to buy right now. And if for any reason you need to sell right away, Troy can buy your house all cash and close in as little as 7 days. You have a house to sell, Troy probably has that perfect buyer for you right now, waiting for you to pick up the phone and to call him. Call Troy, get your home sold for the most money. That's 720-900-4433, 720-900-4433. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. Want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy, 720-900-4433.
Hello?
Hey sis, got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Hellsburg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great, I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% on timeless gifts for Mom. Shop at a store near you or at hellsburg.com.
For over a decade, Bluebird Windows and Doors of Denver's been servicing the Front Range with products built to withstand Colorado's unpredictable weather. Bluebird's Sunrise Collection windows are built to last a lifetime and are backed by strong warranties. Right now, buy 3, get 1 free through May. Mention you heard about Bluebird from me, Mike Evans. You'll save an additional 5%. Enjoy the outdoors through energy-efficient Bluebird windows. Visit gobluebirdco.com. Bluebird Windows and Doors. Make today a Bluebird day.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With a Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Cecil Lammy here for my friends at SodaDietNutrition.com. Now, 5 years ago, I lost 60 pounds because of soda, and I'm never going back. I've never gained the weight back. I never will, because SodaDietNutrition.com, they taught me how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat. It's simply magnificent. I want you to call them up, 866-800-SODA, where you can join Soda for a short time to have results that last a lifetime. Soda weight loss is now SodaDietNutrition.com, and you've got to have these guys on your side, because the weight loss journey, it can be tough. There can be struggles. Having a real nutritionist there available via text to help you out with any sort of questions, concerns, sometimes it's just straight up encouragement. It's SodaDietNutrition.com, and there's no mystery pills, mystery injections, any mystery chemicals you're putting in your body. You're doing it the right way. Learn how. Join the program. SodaDietNutrition.com, 866-800-SODA, because SOTA is, say it with me, state of the art.
Done right kitchens, baths, counters and floors, finished basements, windows and doors. Our 8% scheduling incentive and bank financing to ask about make a great time to call 800-362-8370 or drhi.com.
Hey guys, it's Mark Schlereth. Nobody likes talking about this, but if you're a guy over 50 dealing with enlarged prostate, you need to know about PAE, prostate artery embolization. It's minimally invasive, done through a tiny pinhole, and you're back home the same day. Colorado Advanced Endovascular in Lakewood makes it easy. Top-tier interventional radiologist, a comfortable boutique atmosphere, and the kind of personalized care that's hard to come by. They serve the whole metro area. Go to coloradoae.com. That's coloradoae.com.
Stop waiting for rates and take advantage of real buying opportunities. Lowest Rate for Life helps you get the deal you want on the home today, and if rates fall in the future, we can redo your loan with no lender fees and no appraisal fees. U.S. Mortgages 303 low rate.
All loans subject to approval and change. License number 392126.
Spring is the perfect time to get your AC tune-up before the heat arrives. 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning offers tune-ups, repairs, and replacements 24/7. Book at onehouraircolorado.com.
You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
are rolling downhill here on a Wednesday. Will Peterson filling in for Phillip Lindsay for the rest of the week. Appreciate him being here. What a fun week to be in here doing this job.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for as bummed as we are about the Nuggets, I'm as equally excited about the Avs. And that's what we have to keep in mind. We wanted 3 parades. Bo broke his ankle. We were down to 2.
Right.
We wanted 2 parades. Nuggets completely fell apart. We were down to 1. Knock on all the wood, Zach, but I think we got a pretty good shot of that 1 happening.
Yeah. I want to read one RamosLaw.com text. Zach, and this is coming from the 9902, put your name on it. Love to give you a shout out. He says, Zach, I like you, buddy, and your style for the radio, but Jamal and Legend in the same sentence, I can't go there. He showed up in shape this year. Woohoo! His intensity for the game is for poop. He's got a baby's mentality. Look, I'm never going to tell you how to feel, but here's what I'll say. The Denver Nuggets never sniffed an NBA championship. Had never appeared in the NBA Finals. You're shaking your head like I'm wrong.
Well, 09, if they could get the ball inbounds, they do win the whole thing.
But they didn't.
But that's sniffing to me.
It's not sniffing, Will. It's not sniffing.
You told me they never sniffed. They should have beaten
the
Lakers.
They never sniffed.
And then they would have beaten the Magic.
So they lost in Game 7.
We've been over this. They threw away 2 games because they couldn't get the ball inbounds.
That's basketball, Will. Did they lose in Game 7 or no?
No, but I just took umbrage with never sniffed. In my eyes, there was some sniffing going on in 09.
There wasn't sniffing going on. To sniff, you have to be on the main stage. You have to be close enough.
Are we saying the word sniff too much?
To sniff it. So, like, if you've never been in the NBA Finals, you've never sniffed a championship. So, it's semantical. I'll say they never sniffed a championship. And they got there and won it all. And Jamal Murray was your second best player. And Jamal Murray was going for a 30-point triple-double in the said NBA Finals. And he's averaging 32 points a game in the Western Finals. And he's hitting game winners for you. Look, 2 things can be true at the same time. I do believe it's time to move on from Jamal Murray. And I do believe that they will. But I also agree it was a legendary run. His jersey's going to get retired. He's a top 5 Nugget of all time. And yeah, so I would put him and Denver Nuggets legend in the same sentence.
Okay.
What about you?
Can I get your Mount Rushmore Nuggets?
Sure. If you want me to.
Sure.
Alex English. Carmelo Anthony. No. Alex English. Dikembe Mutombo. Nikola Jokic. Jamal Murray.
I may swap. That's tough.
That's a pretty good one, though.
It's a great list. Dan Issel might be in the conversation, though.
Unfortunately, he's not. He's not. He's not on a Mount Rushmore. With all due respect, he was great. He's not on Mount Rushmore.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go with your list. Dikembe is the one that he's not a slam dunk for me.
Yeah,
no
sure.
pun intended.
Sure.
But Nikola's obviously a slam dunk, and Alex English is obviously a slam dunk. I think 2 of the 4 spots are taken. You can make a case for a handful of other guys for the other spots.
You definitely could, and like the Issels and Thompsons and Mellos, but what breaks the tie for me is that you got it done. You hit pay dirt.
Right.
Like you won the championship, and he played great on that run. So anyway, more stumbling into Mount Rushmore conversation. Go ahead, get the thought out of your head.
I don't think you were out of bounds calling Jamal Murray a legend. I'll agree with you there.
He's a Denver sports legend.
He is.
Dan Issel, on the other hand, he is also a legend. We agree with that too?
Sure.
This is Dan Issel earlier today chatting with Chandler Parsons, a former NBAer, on a FanDuel show, asked about Denver's offseason. Here is Dan Issel.
Now, going forward, are there big changes coming this offseason with this Nuggets team? Like you heard the Jokic quotes about everyone in Serbia, they'd be all fired. What do they do this summer to keep up with such a deep, highly talented Western Conference?
Yeah, Chandler, I don't think there's a whole lot they can do. I mean, they're not going to trade Joker, and Jamal had a rough series against Minnesota, but he was an all-star this year.
No, I disagree with him because I think that's the reason you can trade him, but I'll let Mr. Issel keep going.
The Cam Johnson is a nice piece. I don't know what you would get in return for him. Of course, Christian Brown has $100 million left on his contract. So I don't know if you can make a lot of moves. I don't think Stan Kroenke is the most frugal billionaire since Warren Buffett. So I don't think he's gonna fire a coach that has a lot of time left on his contract. Or
there are not a lot of owners that are going to get blasted like that by a legend that played for the team and jersey hangs from Ball Arena ceiling. The way that Dan Essel just said, Warren Buffett is the comp for a more frugal billionaire, which frugal billionaire shouldn't be in the same sentence, but it's applicable here. And I'm like, damn, very interesting, because it ties together a big picture theme here with the Denver Nuggets that got brought up unprompted on maybe the most popular basketball podcast in the world right now, the Hoop Collective, with Brian Windhorst, Tim Bontemps, and Tim McMahon, ESPN Omaha production podcast, and they were talking about, well, I'll let you listen for yourself. Here is This Week talking about, just take a listen.
Tim Connolly sure as hell is having a good night. By the way, the Mavericks are going to move on in their search for president of basketball operations. They're not going to wait on Tim Connolly, and there's an anticipation that Tim Connolly is not going anywhere.
Well,
that's news.
I mean, you're just dropping that in, like you're dropping that in as if the whole world knew that Dallas was trying to get Tim Connolly, and you're saying, by the way, like, yes, we knew that this is something that Dallas wanted, but I don't know.
Oh, viewers of the hit YouTube show Howdy Partners sure knew.
Well, first off, I'm hearing a lot of, as we enter this coaching carousel and executive carousel season. There's a lot of conversation about guys who are already in the jobs for other places, and if a guy has a job at another team that's the same level job, I mean, I can think of 3 times in the last 20 years where it's happened.
Well, one was Tim Connolly leaving Denver.
I know. I can think of Tim Connolly leaving Denver because Denver doesn't value executives. Masai Ujiri going from Denver to Toronto because Denver doesn't value executives. And Brian Colangelo going from Phoenix to Toronto.
I'm sorry. Like, that should bother Nuggets fans. Mm-hmm. That was not a Nuggets conversation. Like, they're having a conversation about Tim Connolly, who's been the president of the Wolves for years now, since 2023. That's a long time. Not everything that they're talking about is through a Nuggets lens the way that we have it. And the fact that the Nuggets got brought up unprompted when it came to Tim Connolly, because the Mavericks couldn't get Tim Connolly, because the whole league would want to hire Tim Connolly. The same way that I said earlier in the week to James, when I said if David Adelman got let go and every single team in the NBA had an opportunity to swap out their current coach for David Adelman would go unhired. That's just a fact, Jack. And now if you put the shoe on the other foot and said if every organization had the chance to hire Tim Connolly and swap out their current president, I think you might have maybe 2 or 3 that wouldn't, say for Sam Presti in Oklahoma City, say for Brad Stevens in Boston, and I'll just make room for 2 or 3 others who aren't at the top of mind. Most everyone would swap out. And when they couldn't get Tim Connolly, talking about the Mavericks, who have a generational prospect in Cooper Flagg, and they were recruiting him to entrust the future of their organization to Connolly, and they couldn't get him, and the guy that they went to second was Masai Ujiri, who was running the Nuggets before Tim Connolly, and both are 2 of the 3 examples that these basketball minds can think of in the last 20 years who left their post for a lateral job, and because the Nuggets don't value executives. Well, I'm telling you, the germ of how we got to today, the origin story of how the Nuggets get to the point where they are today, was being too frugal and not valuing Tim Connolly and Masai Ujiri before him as a championship-level executive and viewing these guys as interchangeable parts. That's the origin story of how you get to this point today.
Yeah, it's beyond disappointing as a Nuggets fan that to some extent Josh and maybe even his father Stan just feel like we can rotate guys in and they'll all be great. That hasn't been the case. Masai goes and wins a championship with the Raptors. Tim is the guy that goes to Minnesota and more or less builds the team that ends your current construction.
Crazy.
Couldn't end your dynasty because you only have one, whereas if Tim was still here, would we be in the midst of a dynasty?
You might be, because the Malone-Calvin Booth legendary fracture, dramatic enough to be on daytime television, never happens if Tim Connolly's here, ever.
So what if they pay Tim Connolly the $8 million that they paid Zeke Naji? Right? And I understand it's a little apples to oranges because we're talking players versus execs. But still, you're the Kroenke family. You're writing Zeke a check for $8 million, or you're writing Tim a check for $8 million.
But it's even more disappointing when you bring it up like that, because Zeke counts against the books.
Tim doesn't.
There's no second apron for coaches and executives. That's where these NBA teams can win on the margins. And the fact that they so willfully turned down that option for two guys who the entire league covets, I get fired up because it drives me nuts. These guys aren't interchangeable parts. And what the problem is that you become bulletproof and feel validated when you win a championship in the first year without Tim Connolly, but the chickens have come home to roost here. And I'm troubled. I'm troubled that decisions that were made years ago, the ripple effects, are crashing up on the shores of the current Nuggets potential dynasty. At least a two-time finalist to try to win a championship. You know, there's no promises, but they haven't come close. And the fact that they haven't come close, you can bring it all the way back to watching Tim Connolly, a consensus builder, a culture builder. Look what happened to the culture after Tim Connolly walked out the door. Thing turned toxic. It was Chernobyl. It drives me nuts because it was all preventable.
No, it's a great rant, and I'm taking everything in because you're hitting a home run. You're 10 for 10 on everything you're saying. But that said, I'm now curious where your anger is most directed at, because there are 4 categories of who you can be the most mad at right now as a Nuggets fan. 4 categories. There's ownership, there's management, there's coaching, and there's the players. And if you had to rank your frustrations, and I'm not talking about 10 years ago, I'm not talking about 2 years ago, I'm talking about now, this very moment, are you the most mad at ownership, Stan and Josh Kroenke, management, Jonathan Wallace and Ben Tenzer, coaching, David Adelman and his staff, or the players, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, et cetera, et cetera?
It's hard to parse through because it's been such a failure, and make no mistake, Denver Nuggets basketball post-championship has been a failure defined.
They've won 2 playoff series in 3 years.
And so when it's that bad, I don't want to put it on just one person, but I have to unpack it and reverse engineer it, because David Adelman should have not been in the position to fail the way that he did. The management, I don't fault them either. Most everyone would have taken that job if they were granted it.
And I liked the MPJ trade at the time. Their biggest move, what's the Tenzer and Wallace signature move thus far? It's MPJ and the pick for Cam Johnson.
Yeah.
And I liked it.
I loved it. If you liked it, I loved it. I'm not going to put it on them. These guys, I made the analogy earlier in the week. If I asked my son, 7 years old, to cook for my 4-year-old and he started a fire, is it really on him? Would it really be on him? Or would it be me empowering unfairly someone who is not prepared to do that job?
Yeah, it's on the parent.
It's on the parent. And so if you talk this out enough and reverse engineer it enough, you can dial it back to those pivotal decisions that were masked and now are being exposed. This is KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver, and KRSFM Laramie. We are coming with it, and we are coming for it. It's Zach By hanging out with Will Peterson, filling in for Phillip Lindsay today, and we are The Drive, powered by Regen RX. And I just want to make a quick correction. It's KARS FM up in Laramie. Still getting used to that. Appreciate our friends up in Fort Collins. What up from down here in the Tech Center? Okay, I'll take a breath. You know, I get fired up because at the end of the day, and we'll shift gears back to Avs, and rightfully so, but I get fired up because more than any team or player, and I've said this off and on through the years, Will, more than any team or player, I'm a fan of the game of basketball. And I organically fell in love with the Denver Nuggets because to be a fan of the game of basketball was to be a fan of the Denver Nuggets. And there was a specialness to this group. There was a uniqueness. For years, I called them the anti-NBA team. And the fact that they have turned so NBA, where the bottom line and the margins and the culture deteriorated to the point, I said last year I watched the culture die, and this year I watched it decompose. And it's just, it hurts me as a basketball fan because a lot of this could have been prevented, and it wasn't. It wasn't. And it bothers me because that specialness is gone.
Well, and it feels like a long time ago that Jamal Murray was tackling Nikola Jokic into the pool in the basement of Ball Arena celebrating an NBA title. We can all picture the video.
Yep.
It's an iconic video in Nuggets history. It just feels way further away than any shot of it happening again as they're currently constructed. Could they win another one with Jokic? They could, but it's going to take a pretty strong roster remake to get it done.
Yeah. All right. Shifting gears back to the Avs. A team that right now deserves its own spotlight on the main stage in Denver sports. What we're seeing is dominance personified. We are seeing a top-to-bottom professionalism, maturity, and I'm trying to figure out still, and we've been trying all season, and at points in the season there have been there's a potential weakness, potentially goaltending. There's a potential weakness, potentially special teams. I'm not seeing any of those things show up when the season's on the line, Will.
No, I was fortunate enough to be at Ball Arena last night for Game 2, Zach, and it was their most complete game of the playoffs for my money. Yes, Game 4 in L.A. was also outstanding, and they're 6-0, so you can't nitpick all that much. But at the end of the day, that was a dominant 5-2 win. That was just a signature victory. It'd be one of those things, if it happened on a Tuesday in February, you and Phil would come in and talk about it and go, oh, look, the Avs are the best team in the Central. They're separating from the Stars and the Wild with wins like that, but they're so amplified in the playoffs. They mean so much more in the postseason than they do in February. Nathan MacKinnon was superhuman, unbelievable, best player in hockey type stuff between his 2 assists, his goal, and knocking down Quinn Hughes and Matt Boldy with 2 very legal, albeit hard-hitting plays, especially on Boldy, that Wild fan are all upset about, whatever. And also Scott Wedgwood. Scott Wedgwood just bounced back. He bounced back, and we knew he would. He was so solid against the Kings. 5 goals in 4 games. Gives up 6. More than he did the entire series in Game 1. And last night stood on his head, particularly in the third period when it was 3-1 and Minnesota was itching to get that thing back to 1 goal. Wedgie was great. First goal certainly not his fault. You can't let Kaprizov get lost off a face-off like that. And even the one that made it 4-2, you knew they were going to win the hockey game. Scott Wedgwood was awesome. Nathan MacKinnon was awesome. And those are just 2 guys. There was about, 10 to 12 other guys that were awesome last night.
Yeah, literally. But this is the vibe. This is the vibe that we had in 22, where we would be coming in here and debating who is, like, if you're doing your 3 stars of the night, like you're bickering over who's the 3rd star.
Right.
Because the 3rd star's got an argument to be the 1st star. And Scott Wedgwood was brilliant last night. And that man settled in after a rocky Game 1 of this series. And you think of the 2 goals that he allowed. It was Kaprizov, 6 seconds after that initial goal, you rarely, you see it, once in a while, but you rarely see a one-man breakaway off a face-off. It was just a disjointed defensive possession that you could really probably look at Makar and Netchis and say, okay, there's some criticism there. And then the second goal, which was Johansson, was a point-blank one-timer that came from behind the net. It looked like Parker Kelly got locked onto the puck. And it goes right under his blade, and it's literal from 8 feet out, smashing it into the back. So it wasn't like I thought Nicholas Waugh's goal was a bit soft.
By Gustafsson.
By Gustafsson. And
quick release from Waugh, though.
No doubt.
He did, that puck was on a stick and then it wasn't. But still, you're right. He probably needs to make a glove save on that.
Yeah, probably, right? And so there's even context to the 2 goals that Wedgwood allowed. I mean, you think of his save when the Wild are down 3-1 trying to make it a one-goal game. It was on the PK for the Avs, and Hartman right across the goal line took Kaprizov backdoor. Like, that's a goal 9 out of every 10 times. And, it was one where I think it was Lehkonen who was late and McCarr didn't get his stick down. And so there Wedgwood is, like, picking up his two teammates, playing above the X's and O's. That's a high-danger chance that he, squelched.
Yeah, he definitely did. And there was so many wedgy chants last night. I thought it was a little maybe manufactured, if you will. Was there a controversy after game one? My gut was absolutely not. No questions asked. I can't explain it, but the Avalanche play so much better in front of Wedgwood than they do Blackwood. There just seems to be a calmness to their game, a cohesion, and certainly a chemistry. And last night at Ball Arena, all 18,000 just could not have been more behind Scott Wedgwood. I was standing right there when he got asked in the locker room, hey, do you hear the wedgie chants? His response, it's hard not to. And I love that from him because
cool.
It'd be so easy for these pro athletes to be like, I'm so focused, but I appreciate the fans. No, Scott's a good dude. He calls it like it is. Yeah, when 18,000 people are chanting your name and you're in the middle of that arena, you can hear them. Scott was plugged into it, and I appreciate him acknowledging that.
Yeah, he was great. He's been great. You're right. You said it was kind of manufactured conversation. I'll give you baby pushback with like some little T-Rex arms.
Okay.
That like Bednar's keeping the door open continuously, and that breathes oxygen into the idea that Mackenzie Blackwood could be up soon, and so that's part of that story too.
You're not wrong. I've asked Jared Bednar about it. I asked him about it 10 days ago. Said, is there a temptation to just name Scott your number one goalie? And what did he tell me? We're not locked into any one goalie. I understand why he's doing it. I hope folks understand why I feel it's an appropriate question to ask, but also why Jared's doing it. He is doing it, Zach, because, knock on all the wood, if anything bad happens to Scott, even if it's a game or two,
sure,
he's got to keep Mackenzie sharp, ready to go, much like when they won the Cup, Pavel Francouz came in and went 6-0 in relief of Darcy Kemper.
Yeah, and this is when me and Merilat were going at it yesterday because he's like, he just needs to come out and name him the starter. I'm like, that doesn't really do anything for the room. Like, it gives us something to talk about as media or maybe fans, but you need to keep one eye on the psyche of Blackwood should you need him. What if a stick goes through and pokes Wedgie in the eye the way that it did Francouz? Like, you're going to want the way that it did Kemper, rather.
Right.
You're going to want that guy, as best you can to feel good about himself. So massaging the situation, I had no issue with it. I get it. And it's probably not going to change, despite Wedgie being in net probably every game of the postseason if I were to forecast it.
Yeah, I completely agree because the nice thing is Saturday morning, you're going to be with your family. It's Saturday. You guys got sports. You got everything going on. You're not going to be going to Twitter at 11 o'clock going, I wonder who's on the ice for the Avalanche at morning skate in the net. Now, if he had given up 4 or 5 goals last night, that would have been something you're having on your radar on a Saturday of, they're going to go to Blackwood tonight in Game 3. There's no drama. It's to the point where we can almost stop reporting on who's in the starter's crease because it's Scott Wedgwood's crease unless something goes
awry,
horribly wrong that none of us even want to really think about.
Yeah, and things went pretty wrong in game number 1, and he was still back out there.
Yeah, but in game 1, Zach, how many of those goals were his fault?
I'd say maybe 2.
Right. I'd say 4, absolutely not his fault. Goals 2 through 5.
Yeah.
Quinn Hughes made a huge play on 2, Tarasenko the great goal on 3, Quinn Hughes the unbelievable shot on 4, and then 5 was the bad turnover with the breakaway. None of those were his fault. So 6 is a number that on paper you're going, 6, that's not good. But when you say, well, really only 2 he had a shot at, that makes the 6 sting a little less, particularly when he won 9-6.
Yeah, no doubt. So Wedgie becomes the 4th goaltender in NHL history to win each of their first 6 career playoff starts. Cam Ward did that in 2006. Tiny Thompson, I'm sure you guys remember him from the 1920-30 season. And John Sebastian Giguere, who was legendary in the same way back in 2003. But those are the other comps. Like, that's it. When this guy was in his early to mid-20s, Wedgwood was in the AHL, playing for the Albany Devils in my hometown. And so to watch this guy perform this way on the biggest stage that hockey has to offer is just, it's so cool. It's historic. And that's what the Avs have been here. Having scored 5 or more goals In 3 consecutive playoff games, that's only happened 4 other times in team history. The Avs set the single NHL record, 12 different goal scorers within the first 2 games of any postseason series. It literally has never happened before. So, and then the 14 goals, by the way, in this series for the Avs are the most in the first 2 games of a playoff series going back to 1988. So this is historic by definition in several different departments, all happening at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. The 12 goal scorers is ridiculous. 12 guys have found the back of the net through 2 games.
Psychotic.
It's absurd. It's half your roster. It's even more than half your roster has at least 1 goal already, and this series is 2 games old. And I just can't help but think of the psyche of the Wild, Zach. They come to Denver and they score 8 goals, and they lose both games by 3 each.
Crazy.
9-6 and 5-2.
Should be impossible.
Should be impossible. And are they going to say all the right things into microphones? Of course they are. But privately, are they a bit broken? They wouldn't be human if they weren't. They flew out last night, by the way, in that storm we were getting. Minnesota flew home. What do you think those dudes were thinking about on the tarmac in Minneapolis at 2 in the morning when they're waiting to get off the plane? Oh, boy, we're in trouble. We got to beat these guys 4 of the next 5 times? You could have all the home ice in the world. You know what doesn't affect the Avs? Being on the road.
Right.
It has not affected them at all. Most wins or most points ever in franchise history on the road this year. The Avs could play the Wild in St. Paul. They could play them overseas. They could play them on the moon, and they're still the better team.
Yeah, and if I said, hey, an hour before puck drop, I've been to the future. When the 2 teams were playing 5-on-5, the Wild would have more shot attempts, more shots on goal, created more high-danger scoring chances. If you include the power play, the Wild had 14 high-danger chances, and they weren't close to winning. Like, in terms of the dispirited nature that they had to feel pulling onto that tarmac last night, like, that performance from them last night beats most teams. That's a good team. The Wild are a really good team. They have Olympians. They have legends on their team. Kaprizov, he's the all-time leading scorer in franchise history. Like Boldy, like these guys, Quinn Hughes, like these are dudes, and they're being humanized to a way that even if you were super bullish on the Avs, the way that we were, to see it actually unfold and to see these guys drilled into the ice by McKinnon, Boldy and Hughes specifically. Are you kidding me? You see what Brock Nelson did to Hartman in the middle of the ice? Like, they used to be able to put teams like Minnesota used to be able to push the Avs around 7-8 years ago, and you can't do that anymore.
No, and Jared Bednar had a great answer on that last night in his post-game press conference. He was asked about the physicality, and he said, yeah, they're big, they're physical, but we're not small.
We're not small.
We're not small. And I thought that was a key quote from Jared of don't paint us into one corner as just this skilled finesse team. We can do it all. And we just showed you guys that against the Kings when we were willing to play their style. We knew it would be quote-unquote boring, but we knew we'd win, and that's what happened 4 times in 4 games. And then against the Wild, sure, we'll go up and down with them, but in the third period, when they're getting ticked off that they know they're flying home down 2-0 and they start mucking it up, we'll do that with them. And then, oh, by the way, we'll make them pay when they commit silly penalties with power play goals.
Crazy. It's pretty incredible. And you know what? And I know we have a little history, fun history back and forth with. It maybe didn't feel so fun in the moment, but
with Marty Natchez,
with Marty.
Well, do you remember what happened the Monday after the Game 7 sweep, or not Game 7 sweep, the Game 7 heartbreaker?
The Monday when you ran me down and were waiting for me here you ran me down and you were waiting at the door when I walked into work.
Okay, I didn't run you down, but I did make a comment to you that probably wasn't real appropriate. I said to you, and I'll just reveal this to the listeners, and I think it's probably been revealed before. I said to you as you walked in, because you were doing 1:59:30, you were getting in here in a hustle. I said, Zach, you got 4 hours of apology radio coming. And, dude, that ticked you off.
It did piss me off.
I thought you were going to turn around and square me up.
Well, I've never saw someone so happy after an Avalanche playoff loss. But
you and Phil really gave it to me for months and months and months.
Let's leave that where it lies for now. I think we can agree on this. It was really good to see, and it has been really good to see someone like Marty Netchis, who has been fairly criticized for his lack of postseason production.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't going to crush that guy last year as a newcomer when he didn't produce at the levels that we were hoping. A lot of those guys didn't. Half the roster was flipped over. It was actually historic, a turnover within one season. And by the way, I believe that if that team that lost to Dallas in the postseason a year ago was the team from the start of the season, I think the Avs are going for back-to-back cups. Historically, it's so you just don't see, because the stat at the time was, and you may remember me saying this, there was 12 teams in NHL history who turned their roster over where half of the guys were different at the start of the postseason than were at the first game of the regular season. So basically, a summarized way of saying it, it's amongst the most turnover we've seen in NHL history. And 9 of the 12 teams who did it lost in the first round. So long-winded way of saying Marty took some arrows last year from your quiver. And
I wasn't alone.
No, you were not.
The guy he got traded for scored a hat trick.
I know. It was awful. I mean, it was literally worst case scenario. But it's nice to see Marty the next season be an offensive engine the way that we're seeing him right now. His driving the goal number 1 in game number 1 to Sam Malinsky, that was, I'm not going to say all Marty, but mostly Marty, putting Malinsky in that spot, and then him getting the Marty party started last night with that backhand. He's been really, really good, Will.
Yeah, he's coming into his own at the exact right time. Because this looks like the guy we've seen in the first 2 games of this Minnesota series. This looks like the dude who got to 100 points for the first time in his NHL career.
Yes.
And there was some questions after the Kings series, but there was questions about a lot of people because they weren't scoring.
No.
But that's exactly what they wanted to do. That was their blueprint. That was their game plan. But now that you're playing with much more open ice and you're playing a lot higher scoring hockey games, of course Marty Necas has to be a big part of that. And he was a big part of it last night, getting that opening goal. I thought it was huge because John Hines, the head coach of the Wild, made, in my eyes, a panicked decision, switching goaltenders from game 1 to game 2. Volstead was a huge reason you beat the Dallas Stars.
Totally.
And he goes out and wears 8 goals. And not only that, you don't even pull. Patrick Waugh got traded to Denver from Montreal because he was so ticked off that a coach didn't pull him on an off night. So not only do you make your rookie wear 8 goals, you then put him on the bench in game 2. And if Gustafsson had gotten out to a quick start, Minnesota might have talked themselves into, ooh, it's working. That's our spark, right? We always joke about the Russell Wilson, Jarrett Stidham spark. What was he trying to do? He was trying to spark his team with a goalie change.
Right.
Scoring fewer than 3 minutes in the game, immediately that doubt had to start creeping into the heads of the Wild's players of, well, I guess it wasn't Volsted's fault in game 1 because they just scored again on us 3 minutes in, and Marty Necas was on the right side of that goal.
Yeah, and I thought it was a bit of a revealing quote from Bednar last night when talking about his conversations behind the scenes with Marty Necas, some of the criticisms that have been kind of following him around through his career. Listen to this.
I mean, it's great because, listen, some of the criticisms on Marty from his younger years prior to being here, they may have been valid, and, Marty and I have talked about this. It's, but just because something's true one day doesn't make it true the next, and especially over time. He's put in a lot of hard work to be a trusted player on our team defensively. It's one of the talks we had when he got here, and a handful of times after that. If you're going to play with Nate and play against the opposition's best guys every night, I got to be able to trust you, or you can't play there, no matter how good you are offensively, right? So he buys into that. The style, the players he plays with, it's important that he's on that line because he helps them a lot, and his game has grown, So I think those criticisms now are invalid.
Those criticisms now are invalid. But he admitted, hey, we had those conversations about this idea that you don't become the best version of yourself with the season on the line. And also, you got to be able to play defense. I don't care how good offensively you are. You're not on our top line if you can't hold up your end of the bargain. And to his credit and to all the Avs' credit, McKinnon, because McKinnon can be frustrating sometimes to watch defensively in the regular season, to see these offensive engines accept the responsibility of what it's going to take to win a Stanley Cup and be, also defensively oriented has been wildly encouraging.
Yeah, and I think Nathan McKinnon's earned that right to be a little bit frustrating during the regular season.
Sure.
We want it now, and obviously he delivers it now. It's interesting on that Marty answer. Two thoughts. One, you could tell when the question was being asked as I was sitting there that Jared was kind of chomping at the bit to talk about Marty. Like he was excited that he got a Marty question. And two, I love how he started it by saying they were valid. He acknowledged the past.
He did.
This guy did not have a great playoff reputation in Carolina, but now he declares them invalid. Maybe a little bit early for that because you still got to win 10 more games to hoist the Stanley Cup. But based on what I've seen in the first two, I don't know who's stopping these guys. They may be playing, Zach, the other best team left in the NHL. There's 8 teams left. The Avs are 1.
Right.
Who of the other 7 scare you?
I'm not going to get carried away because you watch Carolina, they're really good. And they also are 6-0 in this postseason. By the way, let me get this thought out of my head because I know I won't share it otherwise if I don't share it right now. The Avalanche and the Carolina Hurricanes have both won their first 6 games this postseason. The only times that this has ever happened, all right, where 2 teams started 6-0, it was in 1999 when the Stars and the Red Wings both did it. By the way, Stars went on to go win the Stanley Cup erroneously over the Sabres. Brett Hull, foot in the crease, still no goal all these years later. 1985, it was the Oilers and the Flyers, all right, and the Oilers went on to win the Stanley Cup. It happened in 1977 with the Canadiens and the Islanders, and the Canadiens went on to win the Stanley Cup. And it happened a handful of years prior in 1969 when it was the Canadiens again, as well as the Blues started 6-0 in the postseason, and the Canadiens went on to win the Stanley Cup. So in summary, the 4 other times where 2 teams have started 6-0 in the postseason, all 4 other times, one of those 2 teams have gone on to hoist Lord Stanley.
And I'd be shocked if it doesn't happen this year because what are we on a collision course for? Avalanche and Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Someone's got to hoist it.
Crazy. All right, we'll hear from the captain, Gabe Landeskog, next.
The Avalanche, the Wild. Round 2. This is where the real battle begins. Score! Every game gets bigger. Every hit gets harder. Every moment matters more. Our guys are in the locker room. Our shows are locked in on every matchup, every adjustment, and every shift in momentum. On your morning commute, on your lunch break, on your drive home. Our shows have you covered from puck drop to final buzzer and everything in between. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 720-459-HAIR, AdvancedHair.com.
This year, tackle all your gardening projects like a pro with Permagreen Organics, made right here in Colorado. Our new Permagreen Pro line includes everything from topsoil to sheep and peat. Buy local, buy Permagreen Pro soil amendments, and remember, you don't need a miracle, you need Permagreen.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. I heard from a couple in Aurora recently, Tom and Denise. They're empty nesters who thought they were finally hitting their stride, but then life happened. They needed car repairs, groceries kept climbing, and suddenly they were putting everyday expenses on credit cards just to stay afloat. Tom told me, I feel like we're working harder than ever and getting nowhere. That's when I told them about American Financing. They're helping people just like Tom and Denise every day. They look at your whole financial picture, not just credit card balances that keep growing. With a refinance, you may delay 2 mortgage payments, and you may close in as fast as 10 days. And when they heard the average customer is saving $800 a month, they finally felt like they could breathe again. One manageable payment, a chance to stop financing their past and start funding their future. American Financing, family-owned, licensed in all 50 states, with salary-based mortgage consultants. There's no upfront fees, and there's no obligation. So call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at AmericanFinancing.net, NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
I'm Neil, founder of Clay Room. When I found ceramics, I realized my calling was to give others the space to be creative. So I set out to open my own studio. Having a Chase Ink card has allowed us to grow it and bring people together. Now we're molding a creative community.
With the Chase Ink Business Cash Card, you can earn up to 5% cash back on business essentials, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more with yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Are you looking for the perfect engagement ring? Hi, I'm Scott Matthew with Matthew's Fine Watches and Jewelry. We have a great selection to choose from. If you're looking for that one-of-a-kind custom ring, our associates will take the time with you to design that ring that she will love and her friends will go crazy over. At Matthews, when you purchase your ring and Centerstone, you'll receive 20% off your wedding bands. Make the right choice. Come to Matthews and save.
Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry, located in the Highlands Ranch Town Center or online at MatthewsFineWatches.com.
If you've been injured in an auto accident, Dr. Joseph Ramos is both a doctor and a lawyer, combining legal and medical expertise. He can help. Ramos Law, the official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. RamosLaw.com.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan is brought to you by ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Oh, man, how fun is this, guys? How fun is this? I say this from time to time, and I'm not being literal. I'm not being literal because I have a family to support, but shows like this after nights like last night, I would do them for free. I do them for free. I love it so much, and it's so exciting. And, I think back, and I've been so blessed. This is my 10th Avalanche season. Can you believe that, Will? You and I have known each other for 10 years.
Yeah. No, I still remember your very first day here at the Fan. I didn't work here yet.
Right.
But I tuned in. I was like, well, I got to hear the new guy. See what he's all about.
You're like, this guy sucks.
No, well, do you want to go down that rabbit hole just real quick? Baby rabbit hole?
Sure.
So you said something, and we had only met one or two times at this point. This is 2017, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And you're probably going to tell me I'm putting words in your mouth, but I'm not.
Well, you have before, so there's precedent here, but go ahead.
But I have a vivid memory of this.
Oh, vivid. You attach a vivid to it.
Because it ticked me off that much. Somehow, you and Stokely got on Kristaps Porzingis and Nikola Jokic. Because they were sort of ascending at similar times. Just getting on our radars, right? Just getting on our radars. And I remember one Zach by floating, would you make a Jokic for Porzingis trade at that time?
You'll have to produce those tapes. You'll have to produce those tapes. I have no recollection of that. But
what incentive do I have to make this up, Zach?
Well, I'll say this.
I about drove off the damn road.
Well, I'll say this. When
this was pre-MVP, just for the record. This was
Oh,
pre-everything.
of
We had
course,
no
of course,
idea
of
who
course.
Nikola was.
You say a lot over the course of 4 hours a day.
course
Well,
you
back then
do.
it was 3 hours.
Okay.
And so I don't I have no recollection of that. Not saying it never happened because it lives within the realm of possibility. But I'm going to deny that.
Okay.
For right
As
now.
I was telling that story, you're like, what are you about to say? What are you about to say?
Oh, my God. What's the worst take you've ever had?
Oh, I've had some bad ones.
And let us know. YouTube chat presented by Sean Ponda. What's Will's worst takes?
Oh, I've had some really bad ones.
Does one stick out? I have mine.
For me or for you?
What's that?
Like a bad take of mine or a bad take of your own?
No, well, we don't have enough time left in the show to go over yours.
Okay.
I'm thinking of one for mine.
Okay.
Going into 2018, I was all in on Case Keenum, like all in, to the point where, and I've never shared this. Goodness gracious, this is crazy. I shouldn't say this. Oh my gosh, so young and stupid. I had this idea that I was so in on Case, and this was going to be like, it was my second Broncos season, and it was like going to be like this big take. And it was that Case is going to stabilize the quarterback position. You can do all things are possible with Case Keenum because of what I just saw him do the previous year in Minnesota, where they didn't want him to play. And he just kept on. This was when it was Mike Zimmer, I think, and I forget who the OC was at the time, but he basically just kept on defying them with their play.
Well, and then the Minneapolis Miracle was famous.
Yes. And so, but I remember going to my program director at the time, Armin Williams, and I said, hey, have you ever heard of the song, God, I'm forgetting who the artist was back in the 1960s. I will follow him. I'll follow him wherever he may go. You know, all that?
Yeah, you're ringing bells.
And who sang that? God, that's going to bother me. But I'm like, I think I want to play this song, like when I talk about Case, because like I'm going to follow Case Keenum. Like I will follow him. And he thought about it. He goes, I don't like that idea. He goes, this has potential. It's like you're newer to this market. I know it's your second season, but you're still on the newer side. It could really damage you if this blows up in your face, and it will follow you. And I want to protect you from that potentially happening. He said, so the upside of you doing that is less than the downside of it not working out. And boy, am I thankful that he protected me from my own self, just getting over my skis a little bit with Case Keenum. That was probably the worst take, or amongst the worst take, mixed in with the rest.
Yeah, no, it's good that Armin did that for you, for sure. Mine, I've had bad ones, of course, but mine would be, I will admit it, I will raise my hand.
The Stanley Cup door was shut after the Miko trade?
No, I don't think I ever uttered that sentence.
That was Mike.
Okay. Oof. Between that and Landeskog.
quote, the sound you're hearing is the Stanley Cup window being slammed shut, end quote.
Did he top that with massive underachieving disappointment?
No, that ended up coming much later.
He has been an underachieving disappointment.
I drank the Tebow Kool-Aid, Zach. I really did.
No.
I thought Tim Tebow was a viable NFL starter for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Now, I was like a lot of Broncos country. I got over it pretty quickly when they signed Peyton Manning, of course, and then he turned out to be Peyton Manning in a Broncos uniform. But I remember it was my senior year in college, and I would argue with people. And, senior year in college, you're arguing with people out and about at, establishments.
Sure.
You've had a couple pops.
Sure.
I remember, spitting. I was so mad. This dude's going to do it for a decade, and he's a Hall of Famer in the NFL.
All he does is win.
And he's going to Canton.
Oh, you had him going to Canton?
Yeah, 2011 was magical. It was magical, but it was also a once-in-a-lifetime season. It was never sustainable.
Yeah.
So I think my baddest one was that by November, December of 2011, certainly Tebow to DT, one of the more famous plays in Broncos history.
Yeah.
I was all in on Tim Tebow should be the quarterback of the Broncos for the next decade.
Well, you share opinions nonstop in the microphones, you're going to have some stinkers.
Mm-hmm.
And so it happens to the best of us. Who's not a stinker is Gabe Landeskog. And, man, how awesome is it to see? Now, he goes to the penalty box too much since the Olympic break. But it's been great to see Landeskog contributing in a meaningful way, and he's been waiting for a moment like this.
It's what you play for. It's what you think about, through the dog days of the season. It's what you think about when you're training in the off season. This is what it comes down to. So I think it's just about just leaving it all out there, really.
And that's the thing. We have cheered on this team for 6 months, and it's been a historical regular season. But it is about this window of time that we're living in these moments. And Game 1 was kind of hectic. Game 2 started that way, but kind of settled in. Landy was talking about the improvements since game number 1.
Well, we knew that wasn't our best. We knew there were areas that we wanted to clean up, so we studied them. And then I thought we did a good job executing them today. To your point, we were disciplined. With the puck, I thought we made good decisions. Without the puck, I thought we were patient, closing down plays fast for the most part and not allowing them too many scoring chances.
What have you made of the captain here through 6 postseason games?
Oh, it's been unbelievable to have him back. And I know we got a little taste of it last year with those 5 games against the Stars, but you had him for the full season. Zach, it is remarkable how little we've talked about the knee. How good a feeling is that the knee has not been a story all year? We've talked more about him breaking ribs, crashing into a goalpost in Florida. We've talked more about him taking a puck to the little Gabes from Kale than we have about the knee. And his leadership has been so missed. Think about the Nichushkin stuff in Seattle the year after they won the Cup. Gabe wasn't playing hockey. Think about the following year. It happens again. You lose to the Stars in 6. Gabe wasn't playing hockey. Even last year, he wasn't there for the whole journey. I was up in Loveland when he was just desperately trying to get back with the Eagles so he could make a case. And Gabe scored against the Stars last year. He was good, but you can't just – leadership's got to be more organic than that, if you will. You can't just insert him in and all of a sudden, boom, he's the leader. This year he built it all up to this. So you could make a case. If they go on to win the Cup, the 2 times they've won the Cup were the last 2 years Gabe was healthy the whole time, 2022 in 2026. He's literally that big of a difference maker.
Not so coincidental. And 6 points, by the way. So tangible production, more than a point per game here. 7 points in 6 games for the captain. But it's not just him. It's interesting that a major theme that can hang over a team or even Denver sports can just kind of evaporate. But it goes beyond Gabe. That's next.
The Nuggets need a fresh spark. So why bring back David Edelman? After another postseason full of issues, confusing rotations, and tough questions, Denver doubles down on its original mistake. Is this loyalty or lack of imagination? Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
You bought an RV, and you got an automatic discount from Progressive by bundling it with your home or auto insurance. That's great, but a serious word of warning every RVer should heed. You don't need to talk about things like dry weight or dump stations. And you don't need one of those expensive water filter straws either. Because the most extreme thing most RVers encounter is a campsite without hookups. So just enjoy yourself. And Progressive's automatic discount when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach By here for 5280 Exteriors, your siding, windows, decking, and roofing specialist. During the month of May, 5280 Exteriors are offering you $1,000 off a new project. They also offer finance plans that come with no payments for 2 years. 5280 Exteriors is a locally owned company that has been in business for 20 years and knows the Colorado climate. They are a 2024 and 2025 James Hardy President's Club winner. 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality.
Join us at Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, our biggest trade event of the year, May 14th through the 16th. Trade in your RV and get the highest value guaranteed. Then upgrade for less with new RVs starting as low as $94 a month. Plus, take 25% off select maintenance services. Save up to 40% on camp-ready must-haves. And enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Red, White, and New Trade Event at your local Camping World, May 14th through the 16th. We'll see you there.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
So what makes Champ Honda different? It's simple. One price, one person, 1 hour, meaning clear, upfront, and fair pricing. There are no games, no guesswork, and you work with a single client advisor from start to finish. No runaround, there's no back and forth, and 1 hour so you can spend less time at the dealership and more time doing what you love. Plus, at Champ Honda, they never charge dealer handling fees. None. It's a better way to buy a car, and once you experience it, you'll wonder why every dealership doesn't do it this way.
There's nothing between a motorcyclist and the road, and when a careless driver causes a motorcycle crash, the results can be catastrophic. I'm Rob Wilhite of the Wilhite Law Firm, and for nearly 50 years, my firm has been standing up for seriously injured riders across Colorado. We know these cases, we know how to win them, and we won't rest until we get you the maximum compensation you deserve. If you've been injured in a motorcycle accident, call us today, the Wilhite Law Firm, 303-GOOD-LAW or WilhiteWins.com.
Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. It's no secret, the price of HVAC equipment is going to increase this summer. May is one of the best times of the year to buy a new HVAC system. Be ready for a hot, hot summer and get the best prices of the season. Finance a new HVAC system for $200 a month or get 0% interest only at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Thanks. Is oil marked down?
Save up to $15 when you buy 5 quarts and a filter.
And fuel treatment?
2 for $9 on Lucas.
Brake pads?
Marked down to free.
Free?
Get free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 Duralast rotors.
That's several markdowns.
For many more miles.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Want real Broncos talk? Cecil Lemmy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue Today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue Today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
Final segment here on a hump day. Reacting to much of our show to the Avs uppercase dub last night. And welcome in a friend of the show, Anilo Piro. What up, AP?
Gentlemen, what's up? The Avalanche look like an absolute wagon. I mean, what they've done in this series against Minnesota, obviously going back to that series against the Los Angeles Kings, I mean, this just looks like a team that has their pedal to the metal and no signs of slowing down right now.
No, it's one of those things I don't know how you can beat them. You know, I've said multiple times today, they're not going to go 16-0, but then Zach kind of looks at me like, well, they could go 16-0, and I don't blame ZB for feeling that way. You're not predicting it,
Definitely
certainly,
not.
But are they going to lose? Are they going to lose? If I had told you guys 72, 96 hours ago, they're going to sweep the Wild, you said, well, calm down a little bit. The Minnesota's really good. They just knocked down Dallas. Pick them in 5, 6, 7. Don't pick them to sweep. Now it just doesn't feel like that outrageous of a sentence. I don't think anyone would fall out of their chair if the Avs are flying back to Denver late Monday night, headed to the Western Conference Final.
No, not at all. Not at all. Again, not predicting it, but the fact that it lives within the realm of possibility is kind of the point after 6 postseason games, and it's unusual. The Avs had an unusual run of dominance in 2022. Mm-hmm. I mean, 16-4 on the way to a championship is unusual, and I don't, well, I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself. What I was going to say is, like, do you see the Avs losing 4 games here? Like, collectively? I don't know. Again, I don't want to get over my skis. I have to remind myself in moments like this that I sat in the same seat a half decade ago when the Avs swept their first-round opponent and were up 2-0 in the second round and didn't make it out. And they were the favorites to win the Stanley Cup. This is the year before they won in 2022. This was 2021. They were the favorites going into the postseason. They were the favorites in the second round when they were up 2-0 on Vegas, and they didn't win a game beyond that. And now, do I think that's going to happen to these Avs? Definitely not. But at the same time, but this is where we're at. I'm talking to myself. I'm having a conversation with myself saying, hold on, just caution yourself. Don't stay away from that. It's just, but it's tempting because it's right there. Because the tone is a reflection of what we're seeing.
Well, you just got to go with what your eyes are showing you. And it's a team that appears to have gotten just progressively better throughout the course of the playoffs. And I'm going to compare games 1 and 2 of the Kings series to games 1 and 2 of Minnesota. It feels like the games against Minnesota have been a little bit less sweaty. And I understand Game 1 was a crazy 9-6 win, but you're talking about the 2 tightest wins for the Avs in the playoffs being Game 1 and 2 against the Kings. It feels like they've just picked up momentum game after game after game from that moment on. An interesting one from Scott Wedgwood in Game 1, but he's been phenomenal for the most part. It just seems like the momentum is continuing to build.
Yeah, and just real quick, the other thing too, Minnesota scored 8 goals. I can't get over that. The Wild scored 8 goals
over the 2 games.
Over the 2 games and lost by 3 goals both times. They have got to be demoralized, particularly because what did they have to do? They had to play a hard round 1 series. The Avalanche did not. And I know the whole rest versus rust thing was talked about. I don't know if it was discussed enough. Minnesota had 6 games of high-intensity, edge-of-your-seat type hockey, and the Avalanche had 4. Yeah, when they were down 1-0 in Game 2, sure, it got a little sweaty, but the Avalanche knew they were going to sweep the Kings, and that's what they did. Minnesota they weren't even the favorites. Dallas was the favorite to go to round 2.
Correct.
And they did pull a slight upset. So
they were down in that series, Will.
Mm-hmm. Did they use too much gas, if you will, against Dallas? And now that thing's on E, and they're trying to get home, and they're going to have to pull over because the car's sputtering out.
Man, I hate the fact that we have to wait till Saturday to watch this team play again.
It sucks. It's absurd scheduling by the NHL, particularly because that arena in Minnesota has an event Thursday night and Sunday, but they don't Friday. So why is this game not on Friday night? Now, there's 2 other games Friday, 2 games Saturday. I get it. The NHL doesn't want 3 on a Friday and 1 on a Saturday. That said, this break is maybe the only thing that could kind of not squash your momentum, but maybe slow you down just a little bit, mean, the Avalanche were off today. They will practice at Family Sports tomorrow. They will fly to Minnesota Friday. This is a bit of an abnormal break for them that we're grasping here, but if you're looking for, something could slow them down, you'd rather just keep playing hockey every other night rather than this sort of long, ridiculous break that the NHL has handed them.
Real quick, with about a minute left, what did we learn today in Denver sports? Brock Nelson nominated for a major NHL award, Will.
Yeah, exactly. The Selke, am I saying that right?
I believe so.
Best defensive, offensive forward in the NHL. A little hard to measure, but obviously Brock's a key part of your penalty kill. And he's a great offensive player, too. After all the snubs they had. Think about the snubs, fella.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
McKinnon for the Lindsay. Wedgwood for the Vezina. Bednar for the Jack Adams. Now you got Landeskog for the Masterson, and you've got Brock Nelson for the Selke.
All right, great stuff. Really fun show. Absolutely flew by here on a Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow on a Thursday at 2 o'clock. Still so much to get to here. So many notes already written down, ready to get after it tomorrow at 2. But until then, we step aside. It's Denver Sports Tonight coming up next.
The Colorado Avalanche put on a clinic controlling every inch of the ice from start to finish. Speed, precision, relentless pressure define their game as they powered past the Wild with authority. 5 goals, terrific goaltending, and a defense that refused to bend. That was dominance in every sense. The Avalanche skate away with a decisive 5-2 victory, and just like that, they seize a commanding 2-0 series lead. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, Denver's playoff headquarters.
Dan Jacobs with the tale of two cousins. They were both in the same accident. One cousin said she didn't need a lawyer. And when the insurance company offered her $3,000 and said they would pay all of her medical bills, that cousin was very upset because she cashed that check. And when the medical bills kept coming in, the insurance company was long gone. The other cousin called 303 Law 4040. She was offered $30,000. And when we said no way, the judge used scare tactics trying to get